Warning. The following podcast was recorded by two idiots. It contains vulgar language, vulgar ideas, and poop jokes. If any of this offends you, blow it out your ass.
Son of a bitch bastard!
Let's start this again, shall we? Jesus Christ.
You're fucking retarded!
Hey, Pickle Licker, want to play the right intro?
One more time!
Oh, yeah. We're going live now. Woo! Welcome, everybody, to Let Us Cast. I'm Andrew, and finally in person is Bruce.
Hey!
Hey!
How's it going, man? How you been?
Been all right, man. Been
Is it
all
gonna make
right.
you self-conscious to see yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, I can get rid of that.
Yeah, it kind of does. Just because, I mean, look.
All right, here, we can make more dreams come true like that.
Dude, you keep saying that today. You just keep pointing at me. Like, that's the fourth
We've
time.
been over this a lot.
Yes. We've been over this I don't know how many times. You don't have Mila Kunis somewhere in your apartment waiting for me.
I do not.
God damn it.
No, Ashton Kutcher would not approve. Or Kutcher?
Hey, either way. Probably one of those.
Kutcher.
Probably one of those tomato things.
Probably. So what have you been up to, sir? Good to see you in the flesh.
Hey, good to see you in the flesh as well. I mean, this is the.
We got fancy pins even,
Oh
too.
yeah, give you a old hot rod. Give me the mankind.
Hell yeah.
Just have a nice day.
Have a nice day. I don't see shit in this pin.
Uncle Paul says hi.
So yeah, you decided to come up, pay a visit.
Yeah,
Thought we
man.
would do a podcast in person.
Yeah, I was scheduled to go to dinner at Braden's place. That kind of got pushed back a couple of weeks because I forget what the reason was, because he was going in and out of his phone, so I couldn't really hear him. But
Oh, that sucks.
when I called him back, he's with his kids, so I'm like, all right, well, I'm not gonna fucking disturb the guy. So
Yeah, you don't want to be a pain in the ass.
no, but it would be kind of a cool thing. We're actually going to be starting gaming.
Yeah,
A little bit. We're going to
we're
be
gonna be recording some
stuff.
stuff today.
Yeah, like the point of the video that I want to make is that, like, you said yourself, you were never like a big gamer, like, growing up. Like, the extent of your gaming was like
Nintendo.
Fire.
I was I started
more
like
modern gaming.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of modern gaming. I did mostly like when I was a kid, I had a Nintendo for like my 8th birthday or something like that. I never had a Super Nintendo, but my buddy next door had a Super Nintendo. I had a Genesis, I had a 32X, but I pretty much stopped once PlayStation came out. I was done.
Yeah.
So after that, like
Just done gaming in general, or just
yeah, pretty much. Like I did some computer gaming. Like at college we played baseball.
yeah,
or,
we played baseball, we played Spider-Man sometimes.
Yeah, or you had an Xbox, so we would play
Yep.
like Fable.
Yeah, we played Fable, Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah. So like apart from that, I didn't really do a whole lot of gaming. No.
So like the thing that I want to do is kind of like introduce you to these more like modern games. And like there are games that we have on the spectrum already. And if you guys want to email us with like a list of games that you'd like to see us play, like email us at letuscast@yahoo.com. I think that's still the email address.
As far as I know.
Okay.
Good plug.
Nothing is.
I think that's the email.
I don't know if it's changed or not. I don't know if
Not
you're
to
like.
my knowledge.
I don't know if you were just like, man, fuck Yahoo. We're going AOL on this bitch.
We would certainly not go AOL. That's like ancient, dude.
But
Oh man.
But yeah, I think it would be kind of cool to like have your perspective on like these modern games, like the Spider-Man game for PS4, Final Fantasy VII remake. We even play like some like classic games. Like one of my favorite games of all time is Lunar Silver Star Story.
You've told me about this game.
And it's if you like RPGs, this is quintessential. I fucking love it. It was essentially, it was like the first game for me to like where like I actually like cared and gave a shit about the characters. Like if one of them like dies in a storyline, I'm just like, oh fuck, no, bring them back, like they're useful.
You needed therapy?
I mean, I needed therapy for other reasons, but
like I was working at AAA, of course I needed therapy.
Dude, you know where I've worked in the last 20
You
years.
know where I've been.
Yeah.
I've been everywhere, man.
I've been everywhere. Nice plug on that.
Thank you.
But yeah, it would, for me, it would be interesting to like just see you kind of play along with these games and just kind of like get your perspective, just like an outsider. Like I love these games, and
What do you think?
yeah, it's like, well, what do you think?
Yeah.
Is
What
it
do you think?
I mean, I've already said like some of these games, like I fucking love Final Fantasy Remake. I love this fucking shit.
Yeah, that one in particular, because I told you, which is probably a shock to a lot of people, because Final Fantasy is like, you know, it's ubiquitous in the gaming world, but I don't think I've played more than like 2 minutes of any Final Fantasy game ever.
But I mean, like, for like general consensus, Final Fantasy VII is like the one where you're just like, holy shit.
That's what I hear. It's like the masterpiece of Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, and then like when they go back and like, oh hey, we're gonna remake games, we're gonna add this, we're gonna add this, and this. It's like, well, I mean, you guys kind of ruin it because I mean, you took away everything that was beautiful about it. When they did the remake with this one, it was just like, please more.
So wait a minute, they've already remade Final Fantasy VII,
Well, no,
and now
so-
they remade it again?
No. So they made Final Fantasy VII for
Okay.
PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
And then they just remade it. It just came out last year.
Ah, okay.
So, and like they pushed it back. I think this game was like, God, over 5 years in the making, like probably even 10 years in the making. And then they finally like got it out like during the pandemic and whatnot. And it was kind of interesting because they kept pushing it back. And like one of the reasons they was like, look, we don't want to send out an incomplete game. We want this to be as perfect as we can get it. And if it, if that takes like an extra couple of weeks, like, I'm sorry, but we want to
That's
put
what
it
it's
out.
gonna take.
Yeah, that's what it's going to take.
Yeah.
And you start playing the game and like just even like the first level of like tutorial, like, hey, this is how you do in combat. It was like, all right, you used your time wisely. Like, well done.
I don't know what it was. Like, maybe it's the turn-based combat that kind of turned me off from it, but there was definitely something about Final Fantasy in general that I couldn't get behind.
Well,
I mean, maybe it's turn-based. I don't know.
I mean, with the remake, it's not turn based anymore. Like,
Really?
No. So it's definitely more like fighting in the moment. But there are times where like you can like bring up this little menu where like you can use magic or you can use an item or whatever have you, and it just like slows down the action on the screen, so you can still kind of use like strategy there.
It's funny too because I say like I don't like turn-based combat, but I used to play Pokemon, which is it's basically like a glorified rock paper scissors.
Yeah, I mean that's
And it's totally turn-based. It's like, because what's so goofy about turn-based combat is sort of like, okay, go ahead, hit me. Okay, my turn. Like, it just feels like just so unnatural to me.
like
but-
one of the other games that I'm gonna have you play is South Park: The Stick of Truth.
Okay, I've heard about this game.
Yeah.
I played the other South Park game.
Fractured But Whole.
No, I don't think so. There was one where like you shoot turkeys and stuff like
Oh
that.
God, yeah, the N64. game.
N64, yeah.
Oh, good God, no.
And you could like piss on a snowball and
Yeah,
throw it.
just don't get that out of your head.
Was it? You really think that was bad? I thought it was pretty good.
It's bad.
I mean, maybe it's bad compared to the new game, but
I mean, even back then it was kind of bad because it was just like, here,
I don't know. I thought it was
well, no, here's the thing too. It's like back in those days, like Trey Parker, Matt Stone, like pretty much South Park was just slapped on everything. They had like little to no input.
yeah.
Stick of Truth came along. They had like a 600-page script for the damn thing.
Oh shoot, nice.
And they're like, yeah, we want to be involved with this.
That's cool. At least they had input.
Yeah,
I didn't know they didn't have input on the first game.
they did.
You would think they would. I mean, it is South
you would
Park.
think. I mean, that would essentially that would be like, hey, let's make a Ninja Turtles TV show or video game, and let's Eastman and Laird, let's keep them out of this.
Yeah, which I'm sure they've done.
Yeah,
I mean, the arcade games, did that really involve Eastman and Laird? Probably not.
probably not. But I mean,
But those are some of the best Turtles games ever.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, Turtles in Time, dude.
Shit, dude, we can even play those.
I would love to.
Like, I don't have them on PlayStation. I have to bring them my Xbox, but
Yeah,
either way, like
those are classic.
they're classics.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, fucking Donatello for the win.
Oh, sure, of course. Well, even in the old school Nintendo version, where you could do like that hack where you could, AVGN talked about it, where you could hit the characters with the bow staff if
Yeah.
you kneeled just right and stuff. Like,
Well, yeah, like
you got the
Donatello.
reach.
Yeah, like the only downside of Donatello is like his attack was slow. But other than that, he was
Yeah.
like the best option that you had.
Yeah, yeah. He's like the, I don't know, the more well-rounded turtle.
Yeah, I mean, like nowadays it's like they actually have like their attacks like matching their personalities. Like Michelangelo's the quickest, Raphael's the strongest, Leonardo best all round. Donatello's slow, but he has the longest range.
Interesting.
So it is kind of interesting. I like that they did that though.
And they didn't they do sort of like a modern version of the old school Turtles game? Or am I wrong about that?
I think you might be wrong about that.
Okay. I could have sworn they updated it at one point.
Well, no, they did remake Turtles in Time. You
Oh,
can't-
Turtles in Time. Okay.
Yeah, like it was like Turtles in Time reshelled, and like they used like the voice actors from like the 2003 series, but like you can't fucking find it anywhere now. Like it's not on the Xbox Live Store, it's not on the PlayStation Store. It's just it does not exist.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's
Although, was it any good? Did you play it?
I didn't play it because it was one of those things like I didn't really know about it, and then when I finally did, it was gone.
That sucks.
And it's kind of like the what is it? The Simpsons arcade game that used to be up on Xbox Marketplace and PlayStation Store, and then they took it down. And, like no reason was given, and I would have been pissed because like if I bought that, like I would assume like okay, I've got this for essentially for life.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you don't have this anymore.
Yeah, that's annoying. I hate it when companies do that. They're just like, no, I mean, you can't have this game because it's internet based, so tough shit, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it would essentially be like if you go into GameStop, you buy a game, bring it home, and then GameStop's like, yeah, we're not going to carry this game anymore, and they came into your house and just took the game back.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Like, I bought this.
There's a guy I watch on YouTube, Ross. He does like this show called Game Dungeon, and he actually did a video about games as a service is fraud.
I was gonna say, wait, it's not King Ross, right?
No, it's not King Ross.
Just playing a game. The end is nigh. The end is nigh. Fucking run away. The end is nigh. Bye.
No, different Ross.
That guy's awesome.
He is awesome.
Anyways,
But he did a whole video about like games as a service is fraud because of basically what you just said. Like when I buy a physical copy of the game, I own the game. I can play it whenever I want for life.
Yeah.
But if you have this thing where it's like it's internet based, now all of a sudden if you take down the servers or whatever, like now I can't play the game, and that's ridiculous.
Well, like the other thing too is like one of the things like game companies are doing more nowadays is like DLC and like essentially pay to play games.
Yeah.
In the sense of like, if I go out and I buy a game, they're like, oh, it's not the complete game. We have like extra levels. They're not finished yet, but when they come out, you can buy them.
Yeah,
And it's like, guys, come on, like back in the when we were kids, like you went out, you bought a game, like you got the full fucking game. Like, you got
Exactly.
the cartridge, like that's it.
yeah.
It's not like, oh, hey, there's extra levels for Mario Brothers 2. I mean, you got to buy this extra cartridge to get them, but I mean,
Yeah. Like that Sonic and Knuckles where you have to put it open and then put the other game into it, like one of those situations.
yeah.
Well, though, I mean,
To be fair, like that was a game in and of itself,
yeah.
but
And it was actually cool how they had that technology where you could flip it open,
yeah,
throw in like Sonic 2 or Sonic 3 and play as like Knuckles in Sonic 2. It was like, oh man, that's so cool.
yeah,
But I mean, like, going back to like when I kind of stopped gaming, I did some PC gaming, and there was this game I played a fair bit called Dungeon Siege, and then they came out with an expansion, which was sort of like old school DLC, but not really, because the expansion's sort of like you already have the game, and this is sort of just adding to it. So there's a whole nother story that you can go through. So they had this expansion pack called Legends of Arana, where you had like new worlds that you could go through. You could import your character from your old game and play through the new world, or you could start a new character, and it had a multiplayer thing to it. It was pretty cool. It was another RPG, but more of like a I say RPG, but it was more of a beat 'em up style, because it was basically like you get a bunch of people together. You could have like up to eight people in your party, and you just go around beating the crap out of everything. So no turn based. It's all just it's very Diablo style. If you've ever played Diablo,
I remember
or at least
Diablo.
you're familiar with it.
I'm familiar with Diablo. I never played it back in the day, but I remember like my younger brother was big into it.
Yeah, I think Pat, our roommate, was kind of big into Diablo. If I'm
No,
not
I think it might have been Glove, wasn't it?
Was it Glove?
It might have been.
Oh, it might have been Glove. Yeah, you're right.
It might have been like him. I think maybe Josh.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, Counter Strike obviously was big for them.
Yeah.
too.
Fucking Counter Strike.
The chicken.
Yeah, it's like God damn it.
Super chicken.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that there's like 5 of us against 1. Like you have the super armor. Like yeah, you can only run around and stab us, but I mean, you've got super armor and 200 health.
And you're this big.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah, that's like playing with fucking what's his name, the fucking short guy from the James Bond game, the GoldenEye.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
Short Round or
yeah.
whatever his name
Short
is,
round.
or
Yeah.
Whatever.
I
his
think
name
so.
is. Yeah, the guy with the hat. Whatever.
Wait, no, not short round. What the hell is the name? Odd job.
Odd job.
Short round.
I was thinking Indiana.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. No, that doesn't sound right.
I mean, there is an Indiana Jones game where you can play a short round, but it's more like.
But it's not GoldenEye style.
No, it's not even 007. I'm an idiot.
You run around with a gun shooting Nazis and stuff. Actually, that wouldn't be too bad.
I mean, you kind of do.
Really?
Yeah, the Lego one. Yeah, you can run around with a gun and like shoot Nazis. Like,
What system is this on?
I have a 360, but you can get them on.
Bring it up.
Okay.
Why not, dude? So yeah, man, it's going back to kind of the original point, is it's going to be a lot of fun playing games and stuff.
Oh, it's gonna be fun busting your ass on these things. Too.
And I'm sure I'm going to ask all kinds of ridiculous questions like, but why?
Why is this like this? I don't know.
Why
I
is
didn't
this not
program
8-bit?
the fucking thing.
Why is this not 8-bit? It looks too good. Wow, are we outside? Like, you idiot.
This is that virtual reality thing these kids are talking about. No, Bruce, just god damn it.
Just shut up.
Just play.
Let me play.
Just play the fucking game. Jesus Christ.
Oh, man. We were already getting a little taste of it, though, because we did some tests and we played, what was it, Jane Silent Bob Mall Brawl?
Yep.
Like, a hot minute of that. That was fun.
Oh, that was fun. That took me back to like the 8-bit days of playing like River City Ransom.
Yeah.
Oh,
And as you can see, I'm kind of terrible at gaming nowadays, because it's like, I died again. I died again.
Well, to be fair, and it's also your first time playing. So
True.
It's
True.
Yeah, it's your first time playing. Like,
Yeah.
who gives a shit?
I was like, I'm like, where's the start button? You're like, I think it's options. I'm like, and then it brings up
You're
a
like-
menu or something. Yeah. Yeah.
Pitch. Okay.
I feel like a 70-year-old trying to play PlayStation, dude. It's ridiculous.
Where's the button? Where's the start button?
Like, seriously, like, explaining the controller layout to you was like, it's like going back in time and like talking to like an 18th century farmer explaining Bitcoin.
Yeah, seriously. I just look at you like you just told the dog a knock joke. Like,
Yeah, you look like Tucker Carlson.
yeah, pretty much. Huh? Say what? Oh, man. So there was a few topics you wanted to talk about in today's podcast.
Yeah, there were. I forgot what one of them was.
Well, one of them was Maddie in the morning. The other one
Yeah.
was the headstone thing.
Yeah, so
Which is really intriguing me. And I've thought about it a little bit.
let's talk about that one since it's kind of intriguing to you.
Okay.
We'll get to the 70-year-old fuckhead that that's irrelevant anyways. But anyway, so one of the recurring dreams that I've had is I've been dreaming of like my own death. In a sense of like, I dream of like, okay, I die this way tonight. Next night, I die this way. It's kind of weird.
You're like Final Destinationing every night.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That
But
sucks.
it does suck, but it's also like, okay, if I like, what would be on my epitaph that would be on my tombstone? Like, what the fuck would it say? And like,
The first thing that I thought of when you asked me this was, have you ever seen Spaced Invaders?
Spaced Invaders?
Spaced Invaders.
No.
It's an old school movie from the 90s. Most people probably aren't familiar with it, but Man, I used to love the crap out of it. And it's so terrible. Like watching it now, it does not hold up. But like,
I mean, to be fair, a lot
that's
of those movies.
so many of those
like,
movies.
Like
Yeah,
you watch like Earth Girls Are Easy. Like it doesn't hold up.
yeah. But like, there was this one character in there. It's a bunch of aliens come to Earth, and you can imagine what happens. Hilarity ensues. Ha 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 ha. But one of the characters, he's always saying, "Prepare to die, Earth scum! Prepare to die, Earth scum!" And so he says it one time, and one of the other characters goes, "Prepare to die, Earth scum! Prepare to die, Earth scum! Why don't you write that on your tombstone?" So I was like, maybe I should put "Prepare to die, Earth scum" on my tombstone. Or I had something witty, like a poem that would be like kind of funny, but now I can't remember what I came up with.
Oh,
but
God.
but the thing is, like, I'm planning on being cremated, so I don't know if I'm even gonna have a headstone. Maybe I'll have my ashes scattered somewhere or something.
Either that or just have something like imprinted on the urn itself.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. For whatever poor soul decides to keep my ass after I'm gone. So what about you? Because clearly you brought this up for a reason.
so
You have an idea.
I thought of two things. Like one of them was they like a real smart ass, like a Rodney Dangerfield, like there goes the neighborhood kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which if I was to do that, it would probably be something along the lines of like, so I died and that happened.
The other thing I thought it was from Rocco. Here lies a big wet cat, or something like that.
All right, that's number 3. Shit, a serious one was gonna be a real downer. I was like, shit, I can't follow a big wet cat.
I should have saved it.
Shut up. This is why we can't have nice things.
This is why we don't do this in person.
Yeah, this is why we don't do intellectual shit.
Oh man.
But no, like if I was to get something like seriously put on there, it was probably gonna be like there was nothing left to give or something like that. It's like at that point in my life, it's like, okay, I have nothing left to give. Take me.
I'm surprised you wouldn't pick like a Superman quote.
That would be too goddamn long.
Like you can like parse something out, maybe. I can't even think of any Superman quotes, so here I am being like, you can't think of something, and you're like,
no,
try.
like no, Bruce, can you?
No.
Oddly enough, I can think of something.
Well, go ahead.
Well, if you put me on the spot like that, you dick. I'm gonna have to paraphrase it because I don't remember it like word for word exactly, but there's a comic book panel. It's Superman is flying. He's at the top of this building. There's like some lady threatening to jump off and whatnot, and he's like, you know what, just take your time. I'll be here like until you're ready to talk and whatnot. And she starts talking about life isn't fair, and he essentially says like, you're right, life isn't fair. You know, we come out of high school thinking that we're gonna save the world, and you know, suddenly that it just becomes about, you know, you save that one person. And like there's more to it. I'm kind of paraphrasing in there, but I'm just like, that's too fucking long to put on there.
People just standing over like, gosh, that's a lot to read. Who is this asshole? Why do you pick such a long quote?
Like, I mean, if I was buried in like a mausoleum or something, I guess like, okay, I just inscribe it on the wall or spray paint it. I don't give a shit, but
yeah.
Maybe put glow in the dark paint on there. I don't. That'd be kind of cool. But
it's also kind of weird timing to ask that too, because I don't know if I told you this, but May 1st actually marks the anniversary of my grandfather passing away. So it's been a year since he passed away as of May 1st, and my dad passed away 13 years ago. And I had never been to my father's grave. So I decided to go. Liz and I went out and we drove down to Danvers, visited his grave. I said a little prayer over his grave, and then went to Papa and saw his grave too. And so yeah, it's kind of interesting that you were asking about that, because it was kind of surreal, because my dad's name is my name. It's Bruce Gates. So it was sort of like when my mom and my family, we went down to Kentucky to bury my great grandfather. Her grandmother, if I'm not mistaken, her name was Ida Meek. And that's my mom's maiden name, is Ida Meek. So it's sort of surreal to stand there and see your name on a headstone. Like at first, you know, I couldn't imagine what it was like, you know, for her. And now then to stand there, you know, in front of my dad's headstone and see Bruce Gates' son, it was just like, whoa, that's a little surreal, you know? So what's crazy about that too is it's like my grandfather Gates, my grandmother Gates, and my dad, and I think my great grandparents are there too. are all buried under the same headstone, basically. So yeah, I got to visit all of their graves in one go, and that was kind of a crazy time. Very emotional for sure, because my dad and I weren't very close growing up, but in later years, I kind of regretted not having more time with him. So
yeah, and obviously your grandpa was kind of like a surrogate, like father figure.
Oh yeah, very much so. Yeah, so surprisingly, it wasn't as hard seeing his grave, and I even mentioned that to Liz, and she was like, "Well, yeah, but it's sort of like for the reason that I just explained, where I didn't have a lot of time with my dad, so there's a lot of what ifs."
Yeah.
Not so much with my grandfather. Like, we had a lot of time together. We spent a lot of time together. So yes, his passing is very sad, and I mourn that, of course. But at the same time, I got to spend a whole lot more time with him than I did my dad. So there's less to be sad about, in a way, if that makes sense.
In a way, I guess. But I mean, it's kind of like when my dad passed away. There was always just more like, there were more like what ifs. Like, what if we got him to a hospital sooner? Like,
yeah,
and just thinking like, man, 5 more minutes.
Yeah,
like, I want 5, like, just that one last hug with him, that one last thing to tell him, like, I love you. Something like that.
Yeah, that's I didn't get that with my dad or my grandfather either, honestly. So because my dad and I weren't in touch, and my grandfather, we were actually gearing up to go out to say goodbye to him, but then we got the call like, it's too late, we lost him. So like, well, so much for that. But
yeah.
Yeah, man. So weird timing for sure. And
yeah,
I gotta say, I've been having some weird dreams too, not about dying, although I did have one where those like police or SWAT like houses that they built to do training in, and they're like they knock the door down and do whatever. So I had this dream that I was in one of those, but it was like a brick building, and like a real explosion went off in it, and I was like just sort of cowering in the corner, and then I woke up when the explosion went off. That's the closest I've come to dreaming that I died, but the rest of them have just been like screwed up. I had a dream where I got attacked by a panther, which is really strange, and then that woke me up, but like not a lot of like dreaming about dying. So but I have had a lot of really screwed up dreams that wake me up, and yeah, I'm already losing enough sleep as it is, so then having that on top of it is like, oh my gosh, stop.
I mean, it's kind of weird in that sense of like, I'll dream about my own death and then just immediately like go to another dream.
Oh, really?
It's almost like in my subconscious, like I know I'm dreaming. So like I'll dream of like my own death, see the tombstone, just see like the empty graveyard, like nobody's there. And then next dream comes and it's like, hey, I'm flying above Metropolis. Like, what the fuck?
That's a real switch of gears there.
Yeah, it's like, didn't I just die?
That's crazy, man. Yeah, because I don't really... First of all, I never used to really remember dreams all that often. Now I kind of do. But I don't really have more than one a night, or at least if I do, I don't remember it. It's usually like one and done for me.
Yeah.
And what sucks too is a lot of times when I get woken up by a dream, like I'm up, like that's it. Like I have a very hard time going back to sleep once I'm up, no matter what happens. Like even if I have to get up to take a piss or something, it's like, try to sleep, just sleep, gosh. Yeah. But it never happens, so. Sucks, man. I get like sometimes like, a couple hours a night. I mean, most nights I guess I get like 6 or 7, which is pretty good, but whatever. I'm very sleep deprived.
You and me both.
Yeah. So, well, you especially.
Can't you tell?
You get up early to make donuts and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Like admittingly, like I have an alarm set for like 2:15 in the morning, and like I have it set that early so I can just set the snooze button and just like hit it like 2 or 3 times, and just kind of like get that extra like 15 minutes, and then I can wake up and start like kind of.
Yeah, I do like it on mornings like well, I guess I had it yesterday morning, not so much this morning, but like where you have some extra time in bed to kind of wake up a little bit before you actually get out of bed, so you're not just like jumping up and doing your thing. So
yeah.
I don't have that very often though. Mostly on vacations, which I don't really get. Which, speaking of, like, I've already said, I'm sleep deprived, not getting vacations or I don't take vacations very much, but that's going to change even more because now I've got another job offer, which I told you about, and I'm probably going to be doing very, very long days, like potentially looking at like 12-hour days.
Shit.
But you know what? It's worth it because it's going to be a gradual movement into a career that I really care about, where I'm going to be teaching guitar. Not full time, but I'm going to be heading in that direction. Yeah. So that makes me super, super stoked. Because I'm done with the call center crap, dude. I just don't have the patience for it. Honestly, I really don't. Like these days I'm getting more and more patient, but it's still just like, just give me your information. What do you want? Come on, bro.
Just answer the phone like, the fuck do you want?
Yeah, seriously. Well, when that's your reaction, honestly, to the phone ring, it's like, no, I don't want to help you. It's like,
dude.
okay.
That was it.
That's when you reach the breaking point, you know?
Well, no, like for me, my breaking point was like the company not doing anything about it.
Yeah. Well, you had it a lot worse too.
Well, yeah, I had it a lot worse, yes, but like there were also times where like the way the system was set up, after you finished the call, you got, I think it was like 10 to 15 seconds or something like that, so you can like finish up whatever notes you needed to, or like if you needed to put yourself in like some like setting to like, hey, I gotta go take a piss or something like that, you can do that.
Piss time.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember I used to take
Andrew, why are you in piss time? Because I'm pissing.
yeah, like, you want to follow me in the bathroom, help me uncoil here? But yeah, like there was more than once where it was like, if the day was like especially busy, it was just as soon as the call-ins, beep, call-ins, beep, call-ins, beep. It's like, well, I'm trying to finish up here. What the fuck?
Yeah, and they oftentimes want you to just call after call after call after
Yeah,
call,
and
like, which doesn't make sense, because you would think like, okay, so in my job anyway, we have to be concerned about quality as well, because we're actually making orders, like service orders, for someone to go out and do a job. So accuracy of information, accuracy of data entry are very important.
Oh yeah.
And granted, we don't often get very busy where it's call after call after call after call. But when it does get that way, they kind of expect you to to take the call, right?
Yeah.
And like take it down and put that to the side, and then take the next call, and then kind of rinse, wash, repeat. You know, take that information down, put it to the side, take the next one, take the information down, put it to the side. My problem with that is like, okay, so let's say I get 3, 4, 5 calls in a row. Am I going to remember what happened on the first call in that chain accurately enough? Like, even if I take really good notes, chances are that I'm going to screw that up are pretty high. Yeah. So which would you rather? Would you rather higher call quantity or more call quantity? Because it can't be both.
Yeah.
You know? And I feel like they don't care. They just answer the phone. It's like, well, what do you want? You know?
Yeah, it's like you're paying me to do a job. I'm trying to do it at the best of my fucking ability.
Yeah.
And they're telling me like two different things here.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
Like I fucking hated the system. Like them grading the fucking calls too, man. Like,
yeah.
It's like, what they told us they would do is like, they have people, and I actually tried to apply for this job, and like when my older supervisor like asked me, you know, do you think you'd be a good for that? I was like, oh hell yeah, get me to be a judgmental prick. Fuck yeah, I can do that.
Sign me up.
Like, yeah, fuck yeah, like get me out of here and put me over there.
Yeah. Judgmental pricks, here I come.
Yep, because essentially all you would do is you would listen to like 5 random calls throughout the week. You would grade the person like, okay, did they do this, and like they would have like a checklist for you to check off, and you would have to send notes to that person's supervisor. Like, hey, this person did these calls really well. This person fucked up here, or you know, something along those lines. I'm like, hell, like sign me up, man. I can be an asshole and get paid for it. Hell yes.
Oh man.
Because like, dude, I tried getting out of that call center and like trying going to like the auto glass department before that got bought out by Safelight.
Safelight repair, Safelight replace.
Shut up. I actually applied for a job there too.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's right.
I got an interview and I didn't get the job.
Man.
Whoops. So
that's
anyway,
life, right?
Yeah.
Life in Andy World. Ever just shy of kicking the ball, much like Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bastards. Anyways. So, but yeah, I was like, fuck, auto glass, fuck yeah, I can do that. I can, like, because all you would do is you would take calls from people like, hey, my windshield's broken or this window's broken. I need to have somebody come out. Okay. What day and what time would work best for you? Okay, let's schedule it for then. I don't have one for 3 o'clock, but I have one for 3:30. Does that work for you? Sure. Perfect. Let's roll. And just schedule the appointments. I wouldn't have to drive out, replace the glass, or anything like that.
Yeah, you just dispatch.
Yeah, just dispatching information. That's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I do. I don't necessarily even dispatch. I just take the orders and put them in, and that's it. So that suits me, man.
Yeah.
But going back to the review thing, I think what pisses me off the most about it is not so much that we get reviewed. Like that I understand. They have to monitor, make sure there's good quality, make sure people aren't,
I get that too.
being dicks to customers, you know.
I get that too. But like my problem with it was like if you're listening to 5 calls and like let's say like one of them is an absolute asshole and like you've kind of reached your breaking point, so your answers are a little bit shorter. You're just like, look, I just want to get off the fucking phone here.
Yeah.
They're like, they dock you points for that, and like your overall score goes down.
Yeah.
You know,
That's one of my beefs too, is that well, first of all, they have some ridiculous metrics. So like recently we had to start doing this thing with a survey where we have to ask customers if they want to take a survey out at the end. So first of all, it's just kind of awkward to squeeze in because I'm like, all right, well, thank you for calling company, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Do you mind holding for a brief survey? So I've already basically said like, and I mean, I guess I could word it differently or rearrange it differently, but just, I don't know. I don't like how it flows in, and also just it feels weird. And there's some calls. This is my other thing, is that we're supposed to do certain things in every call. We have to have the right greeting. Okay, that's fine. We have to have the right like outro. Like, okay, thank you for calling the company. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Blah blah blah. Blah. And now the survey thing. Okay, but we get calls where people are like, hey, I just want to talk to this, because we're an international company. We have branches throughout the country. Hey, I just want to talk to your Houston branch. I'm trying to deliver a package. Okay, so let's say I got a FedEx driver. Hey, I'm with FedEx. I'm trying to deliver to Houston. Can you put me in touch with the branch? Yeah, sure, no problem. Hang on. So get me in touch with you. Do I really have to be like, first of all, is there anything else I can do for you? I'm supposed to ask that. You know, thank you for calling and have a great day. Like, can't I just be like, all right, cool, have a nice day, bye? Like, as long as I'm nice and cordial and professional.
Yeah.
Like, why do I have to go through all these? And then, would you like to take a survey? No, I'm just trying to deliver a freaking package. Like, leave me alone. If I was that driver, I'd be like, dude, just connect me, bro.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, I don't understand why. First of all, why? I mean, I guess I understand why we have the metrics, but why we hold every call to all? Each call should be independent. Like, each customer is different. Each situation is different. That's how you should judge it, is based on that, not just, oh, you need to always do this no matter what. That's just stupid.
Yeah, because then it just becomes, it's robotic.
Yeah.
And it's like, you want to fucking hire robots to do this. Hire robots to do this. Which
Thank you for calling.
No, dude, they're actually like a few steps away from doing that.
I'm not
like,
surprised.
One of the meetings I was at, they were like, oh yeah, we're going to be teaming with, people are putting like Amazon Alexas or whatever have you in their cars. So like, people can just say, hey, call AAA. I have a flat tire. And it would have your location, send a message to AAA like, hey, this person has a flat tire, this location. Here's a number to contact them. And then send somebody out. They're like, oh, it's going to alleviate, the stress of the call center. It's like, no, it's not.
No way.
No, it's not. Like, we already had like an automated service. Like, what can I do for you today? I have a flat tire. I'm sorry, I didn't get that. And it's like, and then people are screaming at us like, well, your automated service sucks.
Like I have control over that.
Yeah, like I have control over it, and like I can do anything about it.
Seriously, I get that a lot too. It's like, I've been waiting for 20 minutes. You know how crappy your phone system? Can you just tell me what you want? Like, I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care, and I can't do anything about it. Like, and plus too, the chances that you actually waited 20 minutes are pretty minimal. Like, I've had to, because not for nothing, part of our procedure for calling out is that we have to notify our immediate supervisor. Yeah, which makes sense. Then we have to call the call center and talk to somebody there and tell them that we're calling out too. So I've called into the call center. I know what it's like. It is not waiting 20 minutes. All right. So cool your jets.
Like, thankfully, like calling out was probably the best thing about working there, though. It's just like, no, they had like a specialized number. They're just
really?
They're just like, okay, just leave a message with your name, which location you work at, who your supervisor is, and how long you'll be out. Are you going to miss part of the day, or are you going to, show up later, or are you going to be out the whole day?
I wish we had something like that.
Dude, it was so fucking easy. And they're like, you have to do it at least an hour before your shift.
That's fair.
So, like, I would wake up at, like, 5 o'clock in the morning. She's like, yeah, I'm not coming in.
Oh, man.
No, 'cause, dude, there were so many days I would just pull into the parking lot and just have, like, a fucking panic attack of just going, like, fuck, here we go. God damn it, I can't fucking do this anymore.
Well, your job was very stressful. Yeah. I mean, I've had not, like, that bad, but I've definitely had moments where I'm like, I'm going to log in. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this.
Well, and it made it worse, too, because, like, I tried getting out of there. Like, so I'm sure there's somebody watching / listening to this just going, like, you know what, man, you could have just gotten out of there. You could have gotten a new job. It's like, well, I tried.
Yeah.
Like, I tried getting out of it. Like, my stats were damn good. Like, quality of calls, attendance was really good. Like, under my old supervisor, Isabel, fucking fantastic across the board. So much so, they asked her, like, hey, she was, like, pointing out, like, hey, I used to work for this law firm in, like, Texas, I think. And, like,
Texas?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, no, like, she's like, we had half the people in the building, half would work at home and whatnot. She's like, how do we not have a work at home program here? Because like there are gonna be times like there's a massive blizzard. Do you want your employees like driving in here during a fucking blizzard and putting their lives on the line?
Seriously.
So they said, okay, well let's do a pilot program. We want you to pick 5 people, and we'll get this going. Like figure out what you need for it, and we'll get it going.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of those 5 pilots for the program.
Yeah.
And it was infuriating because it's like, okay, well, we're testing these things out. People are getting pissed off because like somebody would call in, they wouldn't be able to hear us, and they're like, just send the fucking truck. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sakes. And then it kind of became a breaking point because then they were like, well, like one of the selling points for me was like, hey, if you wanted to, like, if you had like a doctor's appointment scheduled for, let's say, like 10 o'clock, so you go to your doctor's appointment, you leave here at like 9:30, get to your doctor's appointment at 10, and then it goes to like 10:30 or whatnot. You can finish the rest of your shift at home and just make up the rest of that time at home.
Nice.
Like that 1 hour. I'm like, fuck yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Or if, hey, if there's bad weather, or like, hey, if you're having car trouble, you can just work at home.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
And one of the other selling points was like any overtime, it's on a voluntary basis. Like you don't have to do that if you don't want to. I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
I remember I was getting emails from like they would send out an email like, hey, we're looking for people to work extra hours on these days because the call center is going to be busy and whatnot. I'm just like, no, like I wouldn't even respond to it because I told them like at this point like my dad had passed away.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, this is the situation at home. Like after I leave here, I do shit around the house. Like
basically have another job, which is taking care of the house.
Yeah, like I'm on call at that job.
Yeah.
It's like every day it's on call.
Right.
But then they were starting to get pissed. They're like, well, you can work at home. You should be able to pick up some of these extra hours. It's like, I should, but I don't want to. This was the selling point for me, is that I don't have to do this.
Right.
It got so bad. My new supervisor, I'm not going to give out her fucking name because fuck her. We'll just call her Control. So anyways, she docked points off of my review because I wasn't taking extra hours.
Yeah, that's
like
bullshit.
I wasn't taking voluntary extra hours.
That's bullshit.
That's absolute bullshit. And at that point, I was just like, you know what? I'm stressed out. My fucking dad is gone. I'm just like, this isn't worth it anymore. Like when I first started, and it was a part-time job, I was working from like 6 to like 11:30 in the morning, like a couple days a week. I was like, and I was getting like $12 an hour. Like I'm like, yeah, this is fucking cool. All right, I can handle this. But then at that point, we were just taking calls for just Rhode Island, part of Connecticut, parts of Massachusetts. That's it. Like and like the Nashua area of New Hampshire. And then they're like, oh yeah, we take New York, New Jersey calls until like 6 in the morning. So I'm like, fuck, I don't have to worry about that and use some other fucking outdated program. Since then, they were just like, oh yeah, we've added New Jersey to our call center. We've added New York to it. Oh, there's parts of New York we can't go on here. We can't go on this one. We can't go on that one. It's like, guys, like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, seriously.
Like we couldn't go on the Garden State Parkway. We couldn't go on the Long Island Expressway. We couldn't. There was roads to like JFK Airport. We couldn't go on there.
Dude,
it was fucking embarrassing.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude.
And then having to tell people like, hey, sorry, that's a restricted roadway. We can't go on there. And them cursing, what the hell am I paying for this fucking membership?
Again, like you have control.
It's like this. It's not fucking worth it anymore.
No, I don't know if it's possible, but one thing that I would love to see, and part of the reason I was making those customer service videos, which I kind of stopped doing, but I guess I should get back into it.
Yeah.
one of the hopes and dreams that I had for that was that it would sort of train people on how to call into a call center.
Oh, dude,
but it won't happen.
It won't happen.
Because people just have these just complete unrealistic expectations, much like what we're talking about, is they think that the person that they're talking to, like, okay, yeah, the person that you're talking to is supposed to be the voice of the company. The voice of the company, not the freaking, godhead that controls everything.
Not the CEO.
Like, yeah, it's not like we have any control over the phone system, the policies, any of that shit, because if we did, then obviously we would change stuff to make customers' lives better if we could, but...
Yeah.
we're just doing our job. It's like when you go to McDonald's and giving the guy, who's taking your order crap because they made your burger wrong. That guy didn't make your burger.
Yeah,
Someone in the back did.
Yeah, or you get pissed off at the cashier because like, what do you mean you don't have spicy chicken nuggets anymore? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
it's like
yeah. Okay, let me put them back on the menu for you, sir.
Yeah,
like
it's like
relax. Yeah, people are just unreasonable.
Like you can't yell at a cashier at a supermarket.
No,
because the price of eggs went up.
Seriously,
it's and I mean going back to my original point, like I was on that pilot program, so I was thinking like my stats are good. If I I'm trying to apply for different positions to get the fuck out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Applied for the Auto Glass Center, turned down.
Mm-hmm.
Applied for that the grading thing, turned down. So like, well, is there any other place that interests you? And I was like, travel, I guess, but they weren't hiring. So I'm like, well, okay, I'm kind of stuck here. And then COVID hit, and they're like, yeah, we're going to shut down the travel department for now. Everybody that's working in that department is working for the call center, sending out service calls. I'm like,
so you would have been doing what you were
I'm like,
doing
well, fuck, I
anyway.
would have been back here anyways.
Oh man.
God damn it.
I wonder if part of it is how good were you? It sounds like your stats were pretty good, right?
They were pretty good.
Like, were you in the top, I don't know, like 5-10%, do you think, of your team?
On my team, yeah.
Okay, so that's the thing. This is something that I told you off air, is that like, I don't want to toot my own horn because I really don't like, being full of myself or whatever, but I also know, because my bosses tell me, that my call quality is really good, and I take every call that comes through to me, with rare exceptions. Occasionally I miss one or whatever, but
yeah.
Not supposed to, so it doesn't generally happen. Point is, I know that my quality is good because I've been told that, and because I've been given certain responsibilities that indicate that. What pisses me off is that when they recognize that, like, they keep you where you are. Like, they've even said, like, I don't want to let you go. Basically, we don't want to put you up higher or anywhere else because you're good at this job. We want to keep you here. So
like, this is where you're valuable.
Yes. So what kind of sucks about that is, like, that's sort of a curse, because when you're really good at it, you are not going to be able to move up, because they're like, oh, well, he's good at that. Keep him there. Don't let him move up, because if he does, we lose him. Yeah, and it's sort of like, that's why I get all the emergency calls that I do, is because they recognize, oh, he's really good and fast at that. Well, yeah, but is it really fair to me to have to deal with all the emergency calls? No, not really. So it's sort of like, it's a curse to be good at something, because then that's what you're stuck with. Yeah, you are stuck with that the rest of your time.
And I mean, it would be one thing if they looked at you and just said, hey, we're going to be starting up like a new department where you're only going to be taking emergency calls. We're going to give you a pay raise, and stuff like that. Like, all right, fine, fair enough.
It was weird timing, though, because I did ask my manager, like, because before, I knew with our old, we changed phones, we changed pretty much every system that we have, but we used to have this old phone system, and I knew, because I think she accidentally leaked the info, but whatever, that there was like a hierarchy, right? Yeah. So like, there's different queues, and in that queue, like, you could be let's say we're in the emergency queue, right? And it's just you and me. Let's say I'm a 1 and you're a 2. That means that the calls are going to ring to me before they ring to you, unless I'm unavailable, and then it'll ring to you, right? So that's what I mean by the hierarchy. So if we have like 8 agents, there's like a 1 through 8, and like, let's say I'm a 1, you're a 2, so Liz is a 3, Braden is a 4, and so forth and so forth down the line. Yeah. So like, we have this pecking order basically of who gets what call. The problem is that that sort of creates the situation where, like I said, you're going to be getting the same calls time after time after time. You're going to be continually getting the emergency calls. And so I asked, like, hey, with this new system, because I noticed I'm still getting a lot of emergency calls, I asked, like, do we still have this hierarchy in place? Because I seem to be, I didn't say this, but in the back of my head, I'm like, I seem to be still getting a lot of emergency calls. And she never answered it. And I said, and in my email, I was like, because I might have a follow-up question for that. Not long after that email came out, I got a notification that I was getting a promotion and a raise. I was like,
funny how that worked out.
Interesting. Okay. But now I get to turn around and be like, hey, remember that raise and the promotion? Yeah, not good enough. I'm out of here. Not right away. I'm going to be staying with them for a little while. But yeah, man. I mean, because of where my passions lie, and because I feel like, I can appreciate that they view me so highly, but to keep me stuck in a position.
But it's not worth it anymore. It's turning into, there's a story in wrestling, and it always comes back to the fucking wrestling.
Or Kiss.
Oh, yeah. Like, there's a problem with that. There's a story, and Dolph Ziggler actually confirmed this. He was backstage one time, and Jake the Snake actually came up to him, and he's like, "Hey, kid, you got to stop being so good." He's like, "The company's just going to keep you here if they see that you're that good."
Yeah.
And sure enough, just floundering in the fucking mid card.
Yeah, it's so weird because, you know, we're always told in our society, you know, it's like Chris said in his video, you work hard and you get to move up, but that is not the case. It's like you work hard, they recognize that you're good in that thing that you do where you're working hard, and then you just get stuck there.
Yeah.
And that's completely the opposite of how it should be. You should be giving me the opportunity, hey, there's these other job positions, you know, you could go work for customer care or for operation support or whatever, like some other division of the company. But nope, you're really good here, so we want to keep you here. So and like on one hand I get that, but on the other hand it's not really fair to the employee.
Yeah, on the other hand it's insulting to the employee. Yeah. It's like, well, okay, yes, you are valuable to this company. We recognize that. You know, and we encourage everybody, when you move up in the company, be a more valuable asset. Well, great. Can I move up to this?
No.
What? No. Come on, let's not be crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
whoa, pal.
Slow your roll, pal.
I think your horses are sick.
Goddamn sick horses, pal.
Hey, boss, I can't come in today. Work from home. Yeah, but my horses are sick. You live in Lowell.
I keep them in the spare bedroom. There's shit everywhere.
Well, we did see a guy taking like a small motorcycle off the elevator. I wouldn't be surprised to see a horse come out of that thing. Like,
to be fair, though, I would love to have a fucking moped, though.
Yeah, you were saying that, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be like Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man,
like, dude, there were even times when I was like scheduled to work at home and whatnot, and I fucking called out because I was just like, I can't even take this anymore, because
yeah,
it used to be when, okay, well, I'm working at the office, like, okay, the shit stays in the office, I drive home, I cool off, grab something to eat, I watch TV, I go to bed.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That stuff's not here anymore. Started working at home, I'm like, well, now the shit is here.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. There's something to that for sure.
Yeah, it's like when you're home, like, this is supposed to be like your sacred space, like your place to get away from everything.
Right.
And I'm like, this is fucking, like, I don't view something as harmful to you unless it stunts your personal growth of just becoming a better person. And this stunted it. So, like, not only did it stunt it, it like cut the fucking legs off. It was like the Black Knight in fucking Monty Python.
It's just a flesh wound.
It's just an anxiety attack. Like, doesn't fucking matter. Leave me alone.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I gotta say, like, I even at one point, like, coming in here, because my stuff's, I keep pointing over here, it's because my stuff is over there for work. I even told Liz at one point, like, I just get like bad energy from there sometimes. Yeah. And it's not like I meditate in here, I pray in here, but still, like, sometimes I come in here and, like, especially in this area, which really sucks too, because that's where I do a lot of recording for my music. So for it to, like, for my work to be here, to not have that separate, like, I love working from home, but to your point, not having that separation kind of sucks.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
And I mean, just the point of like, dude, I did some cleaning up recently, and like, I'm still finding like pens and fucking markers that I would just chuck across the fucking room as like stress relief.
Yeah.
It's like somebody's screaming at me, like, I can't fucking do what you want. I can't just send somebody to fix a flat in your tire. You can do that yourself, you fucking moron. Like, I literally had an old lady screaming at me because, you know, I told her, like, look, it's against company policy. We don't have our drivers do that because if something goes wrong with that, it's a liability to the company. Mm-hmm. They've done it before. Like, fucking no need to freaking yell at me.
And maybe they have before, but that was then. This is now.
Yeah,
I can't authorize that.
Yeah, I can't authorize that. You want to talk to a supervisor about that? You're more than welcome to. Here's our number for member relations. You want to complain about that policy? Fucking go ahead.
I love it when they ask to talk to a supervisor, especially when the supervisor can't do dick for them. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Oh, go right ahead. You have fun. Like, I had a customer that I almost had to transfer to a supervisor the other day because they were trying to call somebody and couldn't get in touch with them. And they're like, I need to speak to somebody. If not, can you put me in touch with the supervisor? And I wanted to be like, yeah, but they can't do shit for you either. But if you insist, like, you know, whatever. But thankfully, I was able to smooth it over. I don't think I've had to transfer more than like one call to a supervisor. Actually,
No,
now that I think about
Dude,
it.
there were numerous calls I'd have to transfer like
I'm
labor
sure.
relations and to a supervisor because it's like, well, okay, yeah, and there were a couple of times that like the supervisor would come over to like talk to the customer, like, well, that is against company policy, but I believe we can do that as a one-time courtesy for you. It's like, what the? It's like, A, you just threw me under the bus. B,
Yeah.
you broke company policy, which you're paying me to enforce.
Right. You just made me look like a jackass.
Yeah, you just
because I'm like, no.
Yeah, and the worst part is like they don't put the information in the call themselves. They're like, okay, I'm gonna put Andrew back on. He'll finish up the call with you. It's like, well, great.
Oh man, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's just like
jeez.
I'm just like, man, I can't fucking do this anymore.
That's the worst. To
Yeah.
give it back to you after that customer was just like, you need to do this for me. And you're like, no, give me a supervisor. Okay.
And, like,
Then you
I
back
wanted-
to you.
Like there were a couple times I wanted to look at the
Whoa.
supervisor and just like, why are you doing this to us?
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Like,
That's crazy.
yeah. It's just
Especially to hand it back. Like that's just so that's like a kick in the nuts.
yeah.
Seriously. I know you said no, but now you have to finish this.
Yeah,
Like,
now I have to finish. It's like, not only did you throw me under the bus, you ran over, kicked me in the shin, and you're like, you okay?
oh man.
Like, you all right? Can you move?
You bleeding?
You answer the next call?
Yeah, seriously. No.
Ugh.
Man.
Like that. Like, that wouldn't have surprised me. Like, if I got into like a bad car accident and I had to go to the hospital, like, so you're coming in tomorrow, right?
Yeah, seriously.
It's like, yeah, I'll take calls from the hospital bed, you fucking jackass.
You haven't seen Employee of the Month, but there's a really funny line where the boss gets informed that one of the cashiers passed away.
Yeah.
She was like, they were like, I hate to say this to you, sir, but Judy on check stand 3, she passed away. And he's like, so she's not coming in then?
Yeah.
That's seriously how it is sometimes, though. Like,
It was fucking embarrassing because they're like, well, you guys are essential employees. Like, hey, there's a blizzard outside with like 3 feet of snow. So you're gonna be late coming in, huh?
yeah, you think?
I'm like, what the fuck? And they're like, well, you guys need to get here because we are an essential service. It's like, number one, who the fuck is calling for a jump start when there's a fucking blizzard outside? B, if there's a blizzard with like 3 feet of snow, nobody's fucking driving anywhere. Like,
Probably not.
probably not. And they're
Because
like,
you guys are all regional. It's not like you're taking calls from Arizona where there is no snow.
no, every now and then we would get a member who is in Arizona, but like
You
because they're,
transfer them out.
yeah, but because their area code, like the area code in their phone number was in New England, they would get sent to us first, and then we would have to transfer them over. And it was fucking embarrassing.
One thing that's cool about the job that I'm going to be doing as a guitar teacher is that, like, let's say I'm feeling not very good, like, but I'm not like flu, like death, like, I'm not
Yeah.
feeling so terrible that I can't teach. I just am not feeling 100%. Or let's say it's a blizzard and I just don't feel safe driving. I have the option to do virtual lessons.
Yeah.
So I could be like, hey, I don't want to miss the lesson. Let's get on Skype or Zoom or whatever they use.
Yeah.
And we could do the lesson over the computer, which is like, that's awesome. I mean, it kind of goes against what we were just saying about the lack of separation, but
Yeah.
I think the difference here is that I actually give a shit about this job.
Yeah.
I want to teach, and I want to teach guitar. Getting paid to play the guitar for the bulk of my income is just like, that's a dream,
Yeah.
So
It's not
I'm
only that,
stoked.
but it's like that, that stimulates a creative side of you where you're just
Yeah.
like, hey, I want to teach you something really cool. Check this out. Ding, 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 ding. It's like,
Yeah. Which reminds me,
like-
I got to play the riff for you that I came up with.
Yeah,
that I was
like-
talking about.
but it's just like there was
And I
nothing.
can show off my big muff. Hang on.
Oh God.
I'm not joking. There's a big muff.
Your pussy melter.
It's not the pussy muff. No, it's the big muff. There's a hilarious battery in here too. I got to show you too.
Oh God.
So anyway, now that I just showed everybody my big muff.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just like, and like there were so many times I wanted to pull a Maddie in the morning and just walk off the fucking job.
Nice segue, sir. Real pro. Slide that right in.
But yeah, so I told you a little bit about the story like the other day.
Because I heard that he walked off, but I didn't know what really happened.
So like every now and then it's interesting to me to read stories about like what's going on in radio because like it's a complete fucking clusterfuck of an industry.
Yeah. And it's only getting
Like,
worse, especially
yeah.
now that radio's kind of dying. Like, let's be honest.
Here's the thing, like terrestrial radio, it's gonna survive.
You think so?
Because it's free. They're in cars. Like you have apps for them.
But so is satellite radio.
Yeah,
And
satellite
MP3s
radio
and-
you have to pay for.
True, but people also have shit on their phone that they could just, Bluetooth that in or whatever.
True, but again, you have to pay for it. You have
No,
to
not
pay,
for not for.
serious?
Well, no, I mean like let's say I have a CD and I rip it to my computer and then I put that CD on my phone. I could play that. That's what I mean.
True, but it also goes with that thing of like D. Snyder put it best. He's like, look, your playlist is not going to beat my playlist. My playlist is not going to beat your playlist.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're listening to radio for just music, like, turn that off and just be in control yourself. You can play the songs like, hey, you want to hear this deep cut off of Rush's third album? Fucking hey, go play it.
Mm-hmm.
Because sure as shit, ZLX isn't going to fucking play it.
Mm-hmm. I love me some Fountains of Lamb Neth.
Yeah. I love some, I got nothing. But...
that is a deep cut off of Rush's third album.
I mean, I like Closer to the Heart.
Oh, man.
So, but yeah, it's all corporate run bullshit now, in the sense of like, even before they joined like iHeartRadio, like CBS Radio, like they would send like, okay, these are the songs you can play, these are the songs you can't play, these are shorter songs, like if you need like one more song to get to like a quick break or something like that, here's your times where you can talk, here are times for the commercials, here's this and this. Like it was basically controlling everything. Back in like the 70s, like there was a book that I forget the name of it, but it theorized like the reason why like Stairway to Heaven got popular was because it was a longer song. So if a DJ had to go and take a shit, they would play that song. So they're like, hey, fuck it, I've got 5 minutes. I can go take a shit real quick, wash my hands, get back, and I still got like 2 minutes left.
That's awesome. I wonder if they did that with Bohemian Rhapsody too.
Maybe, but maybe. But then again, Queen's awesome compared to Led Zeppelin. So
yeah.
As far as I know, Queen never ripped anything off.
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I'm aware of either. And I'm sorry, Jimmy Page versus Freddie Mercury, like Freddie Mercury kicks his ass.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of comparing apples to oranges. You'd really want to compare like Freddie Mercury to Robert Plant, but even still, no comparison.
No.
Because if you compare Jimmy Page to Brian May, I gotta say, I give it to Jimmy Page. Personally.
I gotta give it to Brian May.
Really?
Because again, I don't think he ripped anything off.
Well, yeah, there is. I don't know. I just like Page's playing better, but
no. You want to compare something like that? Comparing like two like similar guitarists, so it'd be like comparing. I'm spacing on the dude's name. The guitar player from like the Rolling Stones.
Oh, Keith Richards.
Keith Richards. I don't know why.
It's based on Keith Richards.
Because I'm an idiot. Like we've known each other for how long now? Like since 2002.
Yeah, so that's man, we're coming up on 20 years.
Yeah,
now.
so 19 fucking years we've known each other, and you still have moments where you're like, he's not as stupid as he thinks he is. Every now and then,
can't be this dumb.
And every now and then, I gotta prove you wrong. So it's like, anyway,
that goes both ways though, because I'm sure there's times like he can't be that stupid. Oh yeah, I am.
No, like, he can't be that stupid. Hey Bruce, hold my beer. Watch this.
Oh man.
But anyways, it's comparing Keith Richards to Joe Perry. Like similar kind of techniques and whatnot, but like different kind of playing styles in a sense.
Yeah.
But again,
I picked Joe Perry, by the way.
Yeah, Joe Perry easily.
Yeah. Although Keith Richards has a great saying about guitar, particularly because I don't know if you know, but he plays a lot in, I think it's open G, but he uses an open tuning.
Yeah.
And what's great about that is he has this saying about like, because you don't play the bottom string typically on that tuning.
Yeah.
And he said, 5 strings, 4 fingers, 1 asshole. I love that. I think that's awesome.
That's fucking great.
but it makes it possible for a drunkard, drug addict like Keith Richards to play guitar, basically.
Yeah. But it's also like saying like, it'd also be like comparing, Neil Peart to, Tommy Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Like both highly influential drummers, different styles, and Neil has more toys to work with.
Yeah, well, and probably a lot more skill. Let's be honest.
Yeah, like the only thing really Tommy's got him is that I'm sure Tommy has a bigger dick. But, like motherfucker drove a boat with it.
That makes sense.
Motherfucker drove a boat up.
Well, there's that metric. Drive a boat with your dick. Check.
Just picture that,
Anybody
like,
else? Anybody else? Huh?
just picture like,
Anybody else driving a boat with a dick? No?
just picture like Neil just like driving a boat out on a lake, just like, it's so quiet out here. How the fuck is he doing? He's not using hands on the wheel. What's up, Neil?
Closer to my balls. Oh, man. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's
So anyway, we're talking about Maddie in the morning.
who I assume does not have a big dick and can drive a boat.
Probably not driving a boat these days.
But so his big thing was like he wanted to talk about Demi Lovato coming out as non-binary, meaning using like pronouns they them, which it has no effect on your life.
Not on
really
anybody's
doesn't.
life, really. No.
It really
Except for
doesn't.
hers.
Yeah, like that affects her life.
Right.
You know, and then like it affects the people that are also like non-binary. Like, oh my god, there's a celebrity. She identifies with us. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, it affects their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For example, does it affect your life? It has.
No.
Yeah. No. Exactly. It has no negative impact, no positive impact. It's just
Neutral.
exactly. It's
Sweden or Switzerland.
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 You can't be this dumb.
See, I told you to go both ways. How long have we known each other, Andy? Here, hold my beer.
Swear to God, if you tell me Anne Frank was blind, deaf, and dumb, I'm gonna smack you.
Well, she did write a diary. She said, Anne Frank. No, you idiot.
So anyways, like this Maddie, who's like 70, 71 years old, has a top rated show in a top 10 market. From what I understand, this was told to me fucking years ago, dude makes like $1 million a year from radio. Like has like sold out shows at the Wilbur Theater, for example. Like the dude's got money.
Mm-hmm. I'm familiar with him, and I don't even listen to his show. But I've heard the name Maddie in the Morning.
Yeah.
You know, I'm familiar, but I just don't watch his shit or listen to his shit.
Well, yeah, because he's on a station that plays like Selena Gomez, Justin Bieber, like all that fucking pop bullshit.
Yeah.
Like the shit that you don't.
That I don't listen to.
And you have no interest in listening.
Exactly.
To. So he was upset that he couldn't make fun of that situation. Like he was like, oh, you know, management tells me I can't crack jokes about it. Like the whole thing is a joke. And blah 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 blah. He's like, you know, management didn't say anything when I was cracking jokes about Trump. And it's like, well, okay, that's a little different.
Yeah, because I mean, everybody makes jokes about the president, no matter who it is. Like people made jokes about Obama, people make jokes about Trump, Bush.
You can make jokes about obviously you can make jokes about them. They're public figures. I get it.
Yeah.
There's a difference between making jokes about somebody because they're a fucking moron and jokes about somebody who's just like, look, I'm non-binary.
That's the thing. What is there really to joke about?
Yeah, there really is nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
and even if it is just a joke, like...
And it's like what Carlin said. Like, you can joke about anything, but that punchline has got to be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, there is no good punchline for that because it's like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah. I'd be curious to hear, like, what he wanted to say because, like, was it really worth it?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. Not only that, but it's like, the dude's 70. Like, just fucking retire. Just out of touch. Like, just fucking retire already. Like, you have you have fucking millions. Just go. Just leave.
I mean, I'll say that I don't know if I'm sure you're familiar with Jordan Peterson because I know I've at least talked about him before, but he got actually into a world of shit because he didn't like the Canadian government, or maybe it was just one of the provinces, wanted to mandate that people had to refer to people by their choice of pronouns. And he's like, I'm not doing that. Like, that's against freedom of speech. Like, I should be able to say whatever I want. And it's like, he's not saying that, you know, people shouldn't be allowed to ask that they have certain pronouns applied to them or that he wouldn't even do it. He's just saying to mandate it is wrong. But people were like, oh my gosh, can you believe it? So, well, on one hand, like, making fun of it, I don't see it as being a big deal, but at the same time, like, what is there really to make fun? It's like you said, like,
what's
if
the
she's
end
being,
game?
yeah, like if she's being stupid about something, then go ahead and make fun of her being stupid about whatever it is. But if you're just making fun of the fact that she wants to use certain pronouns, then you're just kind of coming off as a dick.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't. What's the big deal? Honestly, it's not like that situation where I'm talking about with it's like she's not making people. It's not like she came out and was like everybody needs to refer to me in neutral pronouns or blah blah blah. Because I'm sure she didn't say that.
No.
You know. So I mean, again, what is there really to make fun of?
No, it's also the same of like transgender. Like for example, like Ellen Page.
Oh yeah.
Now
Who's
goes
now
by
Elliot Page.
Elliot
right?
Page,
Yeah.
which yes, like when she started transitioning.
I got to admit, I'm not as old as Maddie in the morning, but I'm equally as out of touch.
Yeah, but still, like transgender, female to male. It's like okay, like I see it. It's Elliot. Like it's not a question of like okay, what do you want me to call you? The answer to that is whatever the fuck they want you to call them. It's
Yeah.
Like, okay, call me Elliot. Hi Elliot, how you doing?
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
And I agree. I'm not one of those people that I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I respect people's wish to be called whatever they want to be called, and whatever they identify with, that's what they identify with. I'm not going to challenge that. Who am I to challenge that?
No,
If they want to be called, Cracker Barrel Cheese, fine. I'll call you Cracker Barrel Cheese. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But I can see Jordan's point about mandating it like on a government thing, because at that point, I just never really like legislating activity, legislating morals in particular. I think it's
fair enough.
crossing a line.
fair enough.
But that's not what was happening.
No,
So
but it's also like you can't exactly have people on the honor system with it either, because it's like think about the last 5 years. Do you really trust anybody to be on the fucking honor system about anything?
not really. But the problem with it though is that like if you do that, then anybody can identify as anything, and then if there's things that are legally bound to that, there's ramifications for that. Right. And that's really the problem, is that people who might abuse that. For the people who are doing it like for legit reasons, like Elliot Page or Demi Lovato, hey, all for it, cool. But if there's some douchebag out there who's like, I identify as a woman, so I'm gonna go into the women's bathroom, ha 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 ha, like, no, that is not cool.
Yeah,
and that's where I think it could cross a line.
Right. I agree. Like you shouldn't do that, because you're not identifying as a woman. You're just
exactly
you're identifying as an asshole.
Yeah.
And we will call you out on that.
Yes, that's the thing, is if people do it so again, it's the honor system. But if people take advantage of something that's mandated because they're being disingenuous, they can bitch that they're not being treated equally, even though they're being dishonest, and that's where I think the problem would be.
True, but I think in that sense, like if you mandate it and whatnot, and like they get in trouble, like I identify as a woman, it's like, well, okay,
Prove it.
well, in a way, like prove it, like
yeah, hard to prove that you identify as something.
Well, no, like that you're actively like going through that transition, like prove that you're getting like estrogen shots.
But what if you're not going through the transition? What if I don't want to bring up any particular person in particular, but I do know someone who, for a while, this was a while back too, before this was even a big thing like nowadays, but they were going from female to male, and they were identifying as male, but they weren't quite sure they were going to do the transition. So in that case, they identified as male, but they weren't 100% sold on doing the transition. So I think that should be... Like, I don't think it should be required that you go through the transition in order for you to be identified as whatever gender you want to be identified as. Yeah. But...
No, and it's, again, like, there was, I remember, like, there was somebody who worked at a local cinema, I'm not going to say which one or whatnot, did the transition from female to male. I don't know when 100% or whatnot, but, when I got reintroduced to this person, it's like, oh, this is Brian. I'm like, hey, Brian, what's up? And, like, I knew who it was, but I'm like, all right. They identify as Brian.
Yeah.
What's going on?
That's how it was for me too. And this was like, gosh, I want to say this was like 10 or 15 years ago that this happened. And they went from the female version of their name to the male version of their name. And I didn't blink an eye to be like, okay, male version of the name.
Yeah.
Because I will call you whatever you want to be called. I don't, again, what effect does this have on me?
No.
None. I just have to change what I call you. And if I slip up, I'm sorry, but...
Yeah.
But it really doesn't affect me at all.
Like if there's I don't know if there's like a grace period, but like, hey, if I mess up, I apologize for that. It's gonna take some time.
Yeah.
But
like
if somebody, like, we'll take Caitlyn Jenner for example.
Okay.
Gone transgender. Asshole.
Yeah.
Like there was no mistaking about it.
Yeah.
Like this is a person. Okay. the public figure, like, you're open for ridicule. I'm not gonna make fun of you for transitioning or anything, because that's fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a hypocrite asshole, oh, fair game, sir.
Absolutely.
Ma'am.
Grace period.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know about that. It's been a while.
But yeah, this is the person, they're running for governor of California.
I was gonna say, why is she an asshole? Because I'm not familiar with what's going on with this either.
Okay, so get this. So Caitlyn Jenner is running for governor of California.
Okay.
Last I saw the poll numbers, which poll numbers, she was polling at 6%,
Okay.
which in the state of California, pretty fucking low.
I was gonna say, it sounds kind of low.
She's doing an interview with Fox News and was talking about we need to keep, men transitioning into women, like, out of women's sports because they have an unfair advantage. And, like, people were quick to point out, like, you were actually in a women's golf tournament hitting from the women's tee.
No way. Oh,
And it's like,
man.
you fucking hypocrite.
I will say that I agree with that argument, but yeah, that is pretty hypocritical. But I do think it is unfair for men transitioning to women to be involved in women's sports.
I mean, South Park kind of did an episode about that too, where it was like, this person who was like, oh, I, was a man, I identify as a woman now. Like, oh, when did you, kind of come out, so to speak? It was like, oh, yesterday. It was the fucking, no, it was the Macho Man.
No,
It was a parody of the
way.
Macho Man. Oh, yeah, I identify as a woman, uh-huh.
Oh
Check
my
out the boots.
gosh.
First name Macho, last name Woman, uh-huh.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and, like, everybody was just frustrated about it, and it was like, yeah, I get it. Sure.
Yeah.
Because they're like, look, we're women, we trained, hard for this thing, and, like, you did this, like, a day ago.
Yeah.
And, like, they have a character, PC Principal, who's, politically correct, like, social justice warrior, rabble. And is conflicted about it because it's like, I know that's unfair, but I can't say anything because we want to encourage people to come out and be themselves, be who you are.
Yeah. It's a slippery slope, man. But the thing is, like, my take on it anyway is that there are biological differences between male and female. So if regardless of how you identify, if you were born a certain way, you have certain genetics, and thus you have a certain predetermined set of abilities, let's say. So if you are, like, men generally have more muscle than women. It's not always the case, but generally speaking, in athletic competitions, men will have the upper hand on women. And that's not to say that women are not as good at sports. It's not to say that they can't do better than men, because they most certainly can.
Dude, throw a rock, you'll hit a woman that'll fucking kick my ass in sports.
Oh, yeah. So that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's...
Don't actually throw a rock in a fight.
Yeah, what are you saying here?
I mean, you can find a woman that can throw a rock better than I can.
And hit a man who can do something better than me.
Exactly.
But for me, it's not a matter of gender inequality. It's a matter of biological inequality. And that's nothing you can do anything about. So I'm all for people identifying with however they identify with, but we have to acknowledge the biological difference and keep, even though you identify as that gender, to keep people with their biological genders when it comes to competing in sports in particular.
I mean, there's really two things about that. So, like, one of the things is, like, the human mind is incredibly complicated.
Yes.
Like, you think about, like, how far, like, concussion protocols have come in, say, like, the last, like, 10 years.
And thank goodness.
Yeah. Thank fucking God.
Yeah, before it used to be like, oh, you have a concussion? Oh, well, just shake it off, basically. Like,
Yeah, like, if a guy got a concussion in football, they're like, all right, you're going to
keep
play
playing.
No, they're like, oh, we'll give you a couple days off, you play next Sunday.
Yeah.
Now they look at it as like, okay, like, we have protocols, like, you do not fucking do anything for a couple days, we keep you on this protocol. As soon as, like, these medical doctors give you the clearance, like, then you can play. But until then, you're not touching a fucking pair of pads, which, I mean, raises another ethical issue about the NFL. But anyways, there's that. And then there's a bill, I forget which state it's in. I know it's, like, one of the southern states, like Georgia or Mississippi or something like that, where if a transgender athlete wants to, like, perform, like, let's say it's a woman transitioning into a man, wants to play on the men's baseball team, for example. Essentially, they are saying, like, well, no, we have the right now for you to pull down your pants. We get to inspect your genitalia before you can play in there. And if you don't have a penis, you can't play on there.
Okay, that's ridiculous on so many levels.
Yeah.
It's not about your genitalia. It's about how you were born and what biologically you were given when you were born. Because again, like if you were born a male, the chances are very high that you would be better at your sport than a woman would be. And again, there are exceptions. It's not about gender equality. It's about biological equality.
Again, it goes back to the human mind and development and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like there are so many questions we still have about it that it's just like, okay, like, yeah. So, okay, so they weren't born with, you know, the quote unquote, the right chromosomes for this sport. It's the human mind. We're at the fucking mercy of our biological chemistry.
Exactly.
So it's like, if somebody wants to like play on, like if a woman wants to play on a men's baseball team, fucking go for it. You want to play on the hockey team? Go for it. You know, men, you're transitioning too. Go ahead. I don't care. Let's have an intergender league.
Yeah, okay, maybe let's have an intergender league, because honestly, men transitioning to women and then playing on a women's team is kind of unfair. That's sort of my point. It's
So
like,
again, it's just, let's have an intergender league.
Yeah.
And we just avoid all the headache.
yeah.
And it's
Because
like,
there was a
it's like we don't care what gender you are. We don't, like, unless you're, you know, if you're an asshole like Sean Avery, like, yeah, we're not gonna let you play, but but hey, here's a place you can play. Like men, women, non-binary, whatever you identify as, you can play here.
Yeah, that wouldn't be such a bad idea. Although then that kind of now we're starting to sound a little bit like the Negro leagues of old days. Remember where we had to have separate leagues, because that's sort of touching on those lines, which is very but
Yeah, but I mean, it's not. We're not doing this out of. I guess it does sound like it's out of discrimination, but
it's
also like, all right, like there's no women's, like, you know, baseball player that's going to get drafted by the Boston Red Sox because they have it as an all-male league, just as there are all women's leagues.
Really, the problem is there's no women's major league anything except for basketball, and that's largely handled as a joke.
Soccer, I think. Too.
Okay, yeah, maybe there's soccer too.
Yeah, soccer.
But is there women's hockey? Like, is there an NHL, a WNHL? No.
I believe there is, actually.
Really?
I believe so. There's one organization, they're tied with the Devils. I can't remember their name, but I know there is like a women's hockey league. There's a women's golf circuit, like the LPGA Tour. Obviously, tennis,
yeah.
But you know, you look at like Danica Patrick too. It's like, well, okay, anybody can race the fucking car.
Yeah.
Let them.
That's a little different because that doesn't really require like musculature. That's just driving.
We're gonna get the emails like, God damn you, it's a fucking sport.
But it's not really.
Like, you ever take a left turn, go 200 miles an hour? Like, can't say that I have, nor do I have any interest in doing so.
I mean, to be fair, there is something to be said for the endurance involved, I guess, but
I mean, yeah, because I mean, like, you have like a little hose to like sip Gatorade or whatever the fuck you want, and then you have to hold your piss in for the whole
that
race.
whole
Like,
time.
yeah. Or like
Yeah.
you just like pee in your suit, I guess.
I guess.
But I mean, then again, like the novelty wears off after a couple of seconds.
It's warm at first and comforting, but after a while, it's just kind of gross.
Well, no, because it's also like, well, okay, I'm driving a car at like almost 200 miles an hour and I'm pissing into a fucking bag.
Yeah, really. Not unlike how I drive to work. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, dude. I just feel like, you know, it is important to consider the biological differences between men and women, and that for a man to go into a women's sport, he has an unfair advantage, much like a woman going into a man's sport when they're transitioning has an unfair advantage. And if they're willing to admit that, or to face those challenges, then, you know, good on you. But at the same time, I think it is kind of like we've seen a lot of stories of like bodybuilders and runners who were male to female transitioned, who just blew the competition away, broke all kinds of records. And it is not fair for a biological male to hold a record in a women's sport. That's just bullshit.
So that's why I'm saying have an intergender league, because there are like softball pitchers that strike major leaguers out.
Yeah.
Just because they're so fucking good with it. Like, their arm is incredibly strong, and like the way you look at it, like you ever been to like a charity softball game, for example?
No.
Okay, it's intergendered.
Oh, is it? Cool.
There are men and women that'll play right alongside. Like, just they play as a team. Like, they're having fun with it.
And I'm all for that.
Yeah. So I'm saying, but just treat it that way. Like, treat them as like charity games in the
or
sense,
something like
in the sense of like, look, here's a professional league. We pay our players. We have them come together. We have fans. You know, just do it in like small markets for like, not small markets, but like, you know, small amount of markets at first.
Pilot program.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, have players get screamed at.
Yeah.
Until they just have the players get screamed at until they have a mental breakdown.
Not bitter at all.
No. Like, calm it down a little bit.
Want me to light some incense?
No.
Grab some prayer beads or my Buddha or something?
No. What I'm saying, though.
Is your horses are sick?
My AAA was sick. But no, it's okay to be angry. It's okay to hang on to that grudge.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay if you use it for something.
Mm-hmm.
And like I did. Like I used it to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Like, I used it to get the hell out of there working for, Stanley Steamer, like for a couple of months until I went, wow, this is bullshit too.
Yeah.
Gone.
So yeah, I mean, it's okay to go back to Matty for him to have whatever opinions he has, but he has to, it's sort of like we talked about this a little bit off air. He has to realize that much like when you were working at ZLX, you can't go on there and just play Twisted Sister.
No, I can't.
He can't go on there and just spout up, because even to complain like, oh, it's okay when I bitch about Trump or joke about Trump, but this isn't okay. Okay, but consider, like, you're probably working for a pretty liberal station, and if you are, well, what do you expect?
Not only that, but again, it goes back.
You have to play ball.
It goes back to, like, yeah, well, they sign the check, so it's like, okay, they make the fucking rules. Like,
right.
I can't go to work and like piss in the fryers.
Right.
If I feel like it, because, A, it's going to make the donuts taste bad. It's going to do shit to the fryers. And
is that why my donut tasted funny this morning? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I jerked off in the batter. Anyways. But, people, no, it's freedom of speech, freedom of speech. It's like, well, you have freedom of speech. It's just you don't have freedom from consequence.
Right.
Like, again, I can't piss in the batter for your donuts.
Right.
And make the donuts without getting fired.
Exactly. And it's the same as the mask argument. Like, yes, you have the freedom to not wear it in your house. But
yes,
when you go into a business where it's not just about you, then it's not that you don't have the right. It's just that you have to be courteous and considerate of everybody else and the
again,
people who run the place.
And again, it's when shit was like closed down and whatnot. Like the only things that were open were just the essential shit, like supermarkets, pharmacies. You can't tell me that these employees, these people that are keeping the supermarkets running, that they're essential, but you're not going to do anything to protect them so that they don't get sick. Because if one of them gets sick and they're exposed to other people, they're going to have to shut the shit down.
Right.
So it's, again, you
have to play ball.
You got to play ball.
Yeah.
And it's like, if the worst part of your day is that you have to wear a mask on your face, like just covering here, for 20 minutes while you run into fucking Walmart and get a fucking Twinkie flavored douche, go for it. Like, just
Twinkie flavored,
just do it.
Douche.
Just do it. It's
you realize people don't eat douches, right?
I don't give a shit.
I don't think you meant flavor, sir.
Whatever. Twinkie scented or whatever. Whatever. My point being, dude.
What's your point?
Shut the fuck up, Bruce. Anyway, my point being that, like, this is to protect other people.
Yeah.
And, like, I posted a cartoon up on Facebook a couple days ago where it was, one of the gun-toting MAGA fuckheads. He's wearing a red hat, just says pee-pee poo-poo on it. And he's like, I love this country. I'll lay down in a ditch for it. I'll do anything to protect this country.
I saw that, yeah.
And just off camera, somebody's holding a mask like, hey, can you wear this to protect yourself and other people? And just the next panel is just him, just red-faced, like, how dare you?
Yeah. I don't think it's just MAGA people. It's other people too, but like, yeah. I actually work with someone who's very much like that. She takes pride in the fact that, like, she and her boyfriend will walk into grocery stores and unabashedly not wear a mask. And I'm like, I'm glad that you have balls that big, I guess. Like, good for you.
It's not even a matter of balls. It's just you're an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just like, why?
Like, you're just
stirring the shit pot.
Yeah, you're a selfish flavored douche.
Yes.
It's just so. Yeah, you're just selfish at that point. It's just that tells me like I don't care about other people. It's me.
Right.
Me.
Right.
It's like, all right, Miss Piggy, slow your fucking roll down here for a second. Just
Oh man, that probably hit a little too close to home for her.
probably. Like, I'm assuming she's had somebody in her family like break a leg and then come back as a pack of bacon. But anyways, my point, my point being, dude.
Oh my gosh.
My point being is that, yeah, I want to go back to concerts again. I want to go. Like, dude, I would love to like take you and Liz to like go see fucking the South Park musical like play that came around. What was it? The Book of Mormon. I'd love to take you guys to see it because it's fucking hilarious.
I bet. I've heard it's great.
It's fucking great, and it deserved It's just it deserved every fucking award it got and then some.
I would also like to see Spam-A-Lot.
Yeah,
eventually.
Spam-A-Lot would be fucking.
Spam-A-Lot would be great.
Again,
although Liz wouldn't like that. She doesn't like Monty Python.
Anyway, so regardless, going to see like live shows, like going to Walmart without a mask, going to a restaurant without a fucking like walking in without a mask.
Yeah.
You know, going to a movie theater. Like just simple shit that you took for granted. It's like, look, we're not gonna get there unless everybody fucking plays ball here. Because it's not about you. It's about us.
And honestly, our lack of progress in the coronavirus situation shows a very unfortunate reality, which is that we live in a very selfish society.
Yeah,
people give more shits about themselves than they do about the general public.
We showed we are the Veruca Salt of the world.
Yeah. I want it now.
Like, I don't want to wear a mask. You can't make me. It's like, yeah, it's like, well, okay, then you're not coming in. Well, I'm going to make a video about this. You're infringing my rights. It's like, well, you wanted this business to be open. We said, okay, here are the guidelines that we can be open. We can only be open to 25% capacity. Everybody has to wear a mask. Staff, management, everybody. If you have a medical condition, A, you shouldn't be fucking out.
Right.
And B, wear a fucking mask. And see, it's just like, look, they've worked on a vaccine. Get fucking vaccinated. The more people that get vaccinated, like it's showing. Like the more people that are getting vaccinated, the numbers of deaths are going down. And like if we had done this shit like New Zealand did, like they shut their shit down for like I think it was like 8 weeks or something like that. Like the virus didn't have a chance to like expand and just develop more like nuclear like weapons.
That's the thing. If everybody just listened and just stayed home. Like, yes, 8 weeks is a long time. Yes, okay, that's 2 months. I get it.
I get it. Yes.
That sucks.
And I get it. You need to go out, you know, get your pharmaceuticals. You have to go out. You got to get groceries. I get it.
Yeah, but you know what? It's in the grand... Which would you rather? Would you rather stay indoors most of the time, like the majority of the time, for 8 weeks, or would you rather over a year of this crap?
Yeah, I'd rather the 8 weeks.
Apparently, people preferred the year plus of this crap, which is just like, what? Like...
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense, but people don't think about it that way. Or if they do think about it, they don't care because they're people like, I just want to walk into the grocery store and not wear my mask, and I think it's hilarious. It's not hilarious. You're a dick.
Yeah, you're
on your
you're
mask.
a dick. And it's like, well, they lifted the mask mandate. Are you vaccinated? No. Well, wear a fucking mask, you asshole.
That's one thing that honestly worries me, is that now that they're taking away the mandates, like for people who got vaccinated, is like, you're going to have people, I'm sure, like the coworker I'm talking about, who's going to walk into places not wearing a mask, right?
Yeah, that sounds like
and they're going to pose like they've been vaccinated, even though they, like, you know that's going to happen. People are going to be like, oh yeah, I've been vaccinated. Oh no, I haven't. Like,
yeah. And it's like you are the one that's dragging humanity back 20 years.
Seriously. And you know it's going to happen too.
Yeah. Like I was going to hope like for like businesses like, hey, if you're walking in without a mask, like at least prove to us that you're fully vaccinated. Like show your card. If you're fully vaccinated, come on in.
See, I don't want to get to that point, but at the same time, like I really don't want like douchebags.
At the same time,
doing like I said,
you can't exactly go by the honor system because
we've shown that we can't do the honor system in so many ways.
Yeah, we've shown there's no honor in this country anymore.
Yeah,
like,
it's pathetic.
I was listening to Christopher Titus's podcast, America. But I was listening to...
Where's my pickup truck?
I was told this is bear punching country. Anyways, but I was listening to Titus's podcast. He was talking to, I forget who it was, some other comedian. And he's like, the problem with this country is that there's no such thing as shame anymore. That people just lie. They do whatever the fuck they want. No consequences.
Yeah.
And they get away with it.
Yeah, for sure.
like you think back to like, 30, like think back to like 30 years. We were like little kids. Like if you did something stupid, you got called out on it and you were fucking embarrassed.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, guess I'm not going to do that shit anymore.
Yeah.
No, like
Because not for nothing, dude, that shit spread like wildfire. I don't know about your family, but in my family, it was like, did you hear what Bruce did?
Yeah.
Especially because I'm the only child, so it's like,
dude,
I had nowhere to hide.
My mom's a total yenta, so if I did something stupid, everybody knew about it. But it's like, you can't scream about your freedom when you're pulled over for driving a moped down the street naked.
Seriously. But that's
It's
what
like-
we're gotten to.
Yeah, it's like, this is where we are as a country. But like, again, you look at New Zealand, like they shut their shit down. Like they're attending soccer games, full fucking attendance, no masks, no nothing, because they shut that shit down. And like as soon, like I remember reading an article, like as soon as like another like case of coronavirus popped up, they shut it down again until that person was like medically cleared, and like they keep doing testing for everybody just to make sure that like, hey, we're shut this shit down.
I got to bring up a cool quote because I know you and I disagree very much so on religion, and I haven't talked about it on air, but I have recently come back to Christianity. But there was a great quote that I found in a passage recently that I would love to find if I can, but I don't know if I'll be able to find it quickly.
Bruce's phone. Bruce's phone.
Shoot. Hang on.
Yeah.
But basically, like, one of the things I was going to say is that...
Paraphrase it if you can.
But yeah, to paraphrase it, it's basically like, let us never forget that... Oh, it's right here. I got it. But okay, what I was going to say real quick before that is... I do think that the world in general, our country especially, would be better, not necessarily because of Christianity, but for spirituality of any kind. Because what you find in any religion or anybody who has any kind of spiritual life is that a lot of the foundation of it, doesn't matter whether you're a Christian or Buddhist or Muslim or whatever, it's really about putting others before yourself. That's really what the main teaching of pretty much any religion that you can find is about, is teaching you how to be more selfless.
Crusades.
No, that's some other shit too.
That
but
like, yeah, I guess in a way it's putting others first. Like, oh, you don't agree with us? You're the first ones to die.
no religion's perfect. Everybody's had their problems, but in general, and there's more to the Crusades than just that. But anyway, but what I'm getting at,
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
no religion's perfect. But what most of them try to drive home is to put yourself second, to put others first, right?
Right.
And I
Love
think
thy
if
neighbor.
more, yeah, and if more people lived by that philosophy, we would all be better off in so many situations. But the thing that I came across recently was this little part of a prayer which I really loved, which was whatever, blah blah blah. Yeah, of course. No. Grant that we may never forget that our common life depends upon each other's toil. Don't forget that when you go to McDonald's and you get your burger, you're depending on the people making your burger. You're depending on the people taking your order. It doesn't matter what you do or how you're doing it. You depend on other people for something. Yep. And the more people realize that and act accordingly, the better we would be. So even taking religion out of it, just realize that everything that you do, like, okay, this coffee I had, like, it got trucked here from somewhere. There's someone in fucking Vietnam who picked the coffee beans. There's someone who roasted the like, there's so many bigger ramifications that you just don't think about. You're just like, oh, I had my coffee. Well, yeah, but there's more to it than that.
True.
You know? But if people just realize that, maybe we wouldn't be such serving assholes.
True. But again, they're like, for me, for example, like, I don't need religion to tell me, like, hey, don't be an asshole. Like, that's just a golden fucking rule.
It should be, but for a lot of people, it's not.
No. Like, and look, I don't care if you
I'll give you a medal.
Fat kid medal?
No.
God damn it. Can I have a cookie?
Sure.
Okay. Oh, wait. I got a brownie out there.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, anyways.
I earned another fat medal today, by the way.
Yeah, you got to tell the story in a minute. But anyways, like, I don't care if you worship Jesus or Buddha, Ganesh, whatever.
Oh, I love a good Ganesh.
Yeah, you love a cheese Ganesh, don't you? I'm gonna get hate mail about that one. But anyway, my point being, I don't care who you worship. If it's therapeutic for you to do that, like to go to church or to prayer or whatever have you, fine, go
if
for
it makes you a better person.
If it makes you a better person, go for it.
Yeah.
The thing,
and if you don't need that, good for you.
Yeah, if you don't need that, and you
but a
find,
lot of people do.
no, but some people don't find therapeutic solace
Yeah.
in religion. They find it in something else, like somebody
Usually
like,
themselves.
yeah, well, no, they'll usually find it in like something else, like a kid finds therapy in buying like a new Batman comic, or a collector's like, hey, I found this old like Lost in Space lunchbox or something like that. Like buying that, it's therapeutic for them. It gives them that little dopamine shot. That's really what shit comes down to, is just
You
getting
just
those.
hardcore reminding me of Weird Paul, but I won't go there.
Weird Paul.
Yeah, I know you don't know him. We'll get back to that later.
All right. About to walk off here like Maddie in the morning. Motherfucker.
I'm done.
Yeah, Maddie out.
Andy out.
You want me to stop talking?
Stop talking. Check out the boots. First name Andy, last name stop talking.
I forgot what I was talking. So, anyways, like it's people find therapy in a lot of different things, and like the big thing that I want people to learn is like the difference between narcissism and self-love.
Yeah.
Like that's a huge fucking difference.
Yeah.
Like
For sure.
like narcissism is like your coworker who is just an asshole, doesn't care, just me first, me.
Yeah.
Self-love is like, you know what? I accept who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I love myself. I love you. I love my friends, my family. I love this life that I have.
Mm-hmm.
If you get there through religion, great. If you get there through a Superman comic, great.
Yeah.
If you get there through a pack of chicken nuggets, great.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think people need anything in particular. I do think that for a lot of people it would help to have some sort of spiritual life, but I don't think it's necessary because obviously you don't have much of a spiritual life and you're not an asshole.
No, I'm
So some
honestly,
people can get
I'm not
by without it,
spiritual at all. I would say I'm not spiritual at all.
Yeah.
Like for me there's at least like 3 rules that I live by in life. Number 1, don't be an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a dick or fucking jerk off, whatever insert you want to throw in there. Just don't be a fucking asshole.
Right.
Number 2, it's not about me. Like the reason why like I like giving gifts to friends or like just doing shit with friends is because I like doing this, for example. Like my goal on here is to make you fucking laugh.
Yeah.
Sometimes I fail at it. Not right now, but
I'm gonna try next episode to not laugh at anything just to piss you off.
yeah, then I'm just going to say something completely outrageous out of left field and just go back to the normal topic, and you're going to fucking crack like that moment,
Probably.
like that fucking cone of silence that you took during college. I broke you once, I can do it
I
again.
break you.
I must break you.
All right, doll.
But yeah, so rule 1, don't be an asshole. Number 2, it's not about me, it's about us. Rule number 3, try and get tomorrow better than you did today.
Yeah.
Like that came from a Huey Lewis song, like Jacob's Ladder. All I want from tomorrow is to get it better than today. So like if I have a shitty day today, I want to at least like wake up in the morning and just go, you know what? All right, shit got fucked up yesterday. I want to do this better.
Yeah.
And it really, again, it comes back to those dopamine shots in your brain. There was I remember Zach Levi was talking about this. He's like, there's a video online, like somewhere on YouTube, I think, of somebody giving a commencement speech at like a Navy Academy or something like that. And he's saying the first thing I do every morning is I make my bed. And he's like, that may not seem like a big deal to anybody, but you get that sense of accomplishment. Like you make your bed and you get that sense of accomplishment. You get that first little dopamine shot. And he's like, just doing those like little things, like the small victories, they give you dopamine shots throughout the day and you feel a lot better.
There's a Rush song called One Little Victory. And I used to go through my head a lot, to be honest. Because, sometimes you have days where it seems like nothing goes right. But then that one thing that you did right, it's like, well, hey, at least I can kind of rest on that I didn't screw that up, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, those are all great things to live by. And if only people did it, you know? And I'm not saying that people need any kind of religion or spirituality to do it, but it does make it a little easier. So that's why I suggested it, is because for people who are just dumb or have no direction or aren't as good as you, let's say, people need some sort of template to work off of. So for that reason, it's helpful.
There's actually a 4th rule. It kind of extends into religion if you want it to. And that's, it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to go to a therapist and just say, like, I can't figure this shit out. What the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
Much like somebody, let's say in Catholicism, going to confession. It's like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. If it's therapeutic for you to, like, go talk to a therapist, talk to a friend, relative, whatever the fuck have you.
Yeah.
As long as it's therapeutic, you're not hurting anybody, just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like it's okay for that.
Can you imagine the world we would live in if people lived by that shit though?
Well, here's the thing. Like when we were growing up, it was all about that, narcissistic, like alpha male bullshit of like,
Yeah.
oh, you go see a therapist, you're fucking crazy. Like you're
Yeah.
not a real man.
There was a real stigma.
Yeah. Like there still is. Like I remember talking to my buddy Mike
That's
years
true.
ago.
That's true.
Like I talked to my buddy Mike years ago about like, he was going through a rough patch. I'm like, dude, go talk to a therapist. Like that is their job. Like they talk to you and like help you figure shit out. Like they give you a non-biased perspective on these things. His quote, I'll never fucking forget this, and it still infuriates me to this day, is that his quote was, I'd rather eat a bullet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's that alpha male fucking bullshit coming back.
Right.
Just saying like, no, I don't want to seek help. That's weak. You're weak-minded.
Exactly. And it's not a sign of weakness.
No.
It's just you need help.
Yeah, it's just like,
Sometimes you have to face something that you can't do alone, and you just have to own up to that. It's actually a sign of strength that you can recognize where you might need help and get the help.
Yeah.
That's a sign of strength more than anything.
yeah, like again, going back to AAA, I was going out of my fucking mind. I literally went on 2 leaves of absence for stress because I was just out of my fucking mind bonkers, just saying like, I can't fucking do this anymore. And I talked to my doctor and I said, like, can you recommend like a therapist? Because the one that I was normally going to see before that had like retired, and he may actually have passed away by now because like when I went to go back to see him in like, later years, like I saw him like through high school, through college a little bit, stopped seeing him for a bit, and then went back. In that time, he had gotten, I think it was pancreatic cancer. So like every weekend, like he would leave on like Thursday, go to New York on Friday, and then just get, treatment from like Friday through Sunday. He would drive back on Sunday, start, his practice over again on Monday, and go through again. So one day I go into his office and he's like, hey, this is actually going to be our last visit. I'm like, did I do something wrong? He's like, no, you didn't do anything wrong. He's like, and he tells me the story. I'm like, and I was thinking like, wow, I feel like an asshole now. Because I'm going like, my mom's pissing me off and doing this, and I got this going on. I hate my job. Meanwhile, he's just like, motherfucker, I'm battling cancer.
Yeah. That's the thing. You never know what someone else is going through.
Exactly. But he never said anything about it until like that day when he's like, hey, this is going to be our last appointment.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. You never know the battles that other people are facing.
Exactly. It comes down to like that Billy Joel song, The Stranger.
Yeah.
People just like, the first verse, like people just wearing masks.
Yeah. And not the right kind.
No. No, there are some people that don't wear masks at all and they're fucking assholes for it. But anyways. But it's like there's different personas that we put on for people. Like the different masks.
For sure.
For
sure. Even people who are like, no, I'm the same person around everybody. I think if you really were honest with yourself and you analyzed it, you would see, like you're more or less the same, but
yeah, look, I acknowledge that I have, like it's kind of like those like the theater masks that you see, the one laughing and the one crying next to it.
Yeah.
I recognize like that's part of me. I get it. Like, joking around with you right now, like ha ha ha. Who's to say, a couple hours later, if I'm driving home, I'm not like, my horses are still sad. My horses are depressed. You don't know somebody till you like see them behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like even like Clerks made that observation. Like, people are on camera, they tend to behave differently.
Yeah.
So if you believe you're under observation, you're going to behave differently. Like
very true.
Like I know, like at my job, like there's no like security cameras inside, so I know, like I can joke around, I can do this shit, but like if there were, like obviously, you'd behave a little differently. Like, you wouldn't crack as many jokes.
That reminds me actually of something funny that happened because I went to help. Pat, my former drummer.
Yeah, I know Pat. Okay. Yeah, he's a good guy.
He has a daughter, and they had to pick up a swing set from someone nearby to him, and I offered to help him, with moving it around or whatever. So
you poor sap.
So we get in the car and I'm driving along with Pat. Pat's driving, and I guess now he works for like Roadrunner. You know what that is? Like it's sort of like a drives like seniors around like to doctor's appointments. and
Oh,
stuff
okay.
like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he's like constantly on camera when he's driving this thing. So he's in the car and he's like all like looking around and super safe stuff. He's like, I'm sorry if I'm coming off as paranoid. I'm just so used to being on camera all the time. And it's just like you said, like you get this in your mind where like I'm being watched. I need to be careful, drive the speed limit, stop at the stop sign, look both ways 3 times. You know, like you get into that mode.
Here's the thing too. It's like years ago, like, before my dad passed, we were trying to sign up for a different insurance company. They're like, oh, hey, put this thing in your car. If you drive safely, we'll give you a discount of up to whatever have you.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that. They docked me fucking points a couple of times because they're like, well, he was at a stoplight. It looks like he was stopped. And then he just accelerated. It's like, well, that's kind of what you do at a stoplight after it turns green.
Mm-hmm.
They docked me points because they were like, he was driving after midnight. Nothing good happens after midnight. I was watching a fucking movie.
Yeah,
like, I was
really?
driving home.
Seriously.
And I was like, would you dock me points? Like, if I'm working like a night job, like if I work from like midnight to like 8 in the morning, it's like,
what do you want me to do?
yeah, it's like, what do you want me to do in here? And they're like, well, after they got all the data back and whatnot, they're like, well, we'll give you a discount of like 4%. My dad's like, fucking bullshit, cram it up your ass.
Unplug.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
Yeah.
like that was part of the deal. We had to unplug them and send them back in. But again, it's like, sometimes there are times like you don't realize your monitor and you behave differently.
Yeah.
Fucking. Anyways, fuck that fucking thing. Like, if you ever get the opportunity to like have one of those things plugged into your car, fucking don't do it.
Yeah, I would never do that, honestly.
Like, even my mechanic was laughing. He's like, God, you fell for that thing? I was like, thought we could save money. They're like,
Yeah. They probably get it just so they can try to peg you on other things so you can pay more money.
Again, like they docked me points for driving after midnight for like coming home after a fucking movie.
That's like getting docked points for not being able to work voluntary overtime.
Yeah.
What if you had a second job and you literally couldn't?
Yeah. And
Which you kind of did because you have your home situation.
yeah.
So.
And not only that, but like when I came back from like the first stress relief, and I explained this to my supervisor when I came back, I explained to her like, hey, this is where I was. This is a pretty low fucking moment.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I was like, I was at the point where like, not only did I not want to be in this building, I was like, I didn't want to be above ground.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, this is the same shit and nobody's doing anything about it. And I told her about like the emails that I was getting and like management talking down to me about the voluntary hours. And she's like, that's not how I sold it to you.
No.
She's like, I sold it to you like this. And she's like, they even came to talk to me about it because they were like, well, he's not taking voluntary hours. She's like, well, I told him he didn't have to. And like,
voluntary
they're
hours.
voluntary hours. So I'm just like, fuck, like, she's never given me a reason to like not trust her or not believe her or whatnot. So I was like, I took it at face value. I'm like, I know she tells the truth because like, she was the type of manager who was like, look, I will fight for you guys. If there's something that's not right going on, she's like, I will fight for you guys. I may not always be successful, but I'll always fight for you guys.
Yeah. And it sounds like she's legit about it because you do sometimes get supervisors that say that and then they're like, oh, throw him under the bus. Like,
yeah. Yeah, it's just they don't fucking care. Like the other managers there, they're like, well, we need you guys to boost up your stats because our bonuses count on it. It's like, I'm like, look, I don't care about your bonus. I don't care about my fucking bonus. But like, if this is going on and my stats are still fucking good, maybe you guys should like do something to fucking help me here so I want to stay here.
Seriously. I really think that companies like that, like AAA or if you're like a 911 dispatcher or something like that, like anywhere where there's a high anxiety, high stress job, it should be part of your benefits, whether you are eligible for benefits or not, that you should get some sort of therapy or some sort of mental.
Yeah, be it full time or part time.
Yeah, oh yeah, it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter if you work 5 hours a week or 50.
Yeah.
You should get some sort of like mental health benefit of some kind, whether it's legit therapy, whatever it is. Meditation, a couple times a week, whatever. I don't care. Maybe you can have the person pick what they want to do.
Yeah,
there needs to be something.
They wouldn't do it. They were thinking like, oh, okay, well, guess what? On Friday, we're going to be passing around popsicles. It's like,
yeah, or you mentioned like you get to wear a sports jersey.
Yeah, like, oh, well, it's the first week of the NFL season. Hey, you want to wear a football jersey? Hey, we go ahead.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
what does it do for me?
I would rather just, like, you want me to be comfortable at work? Like, I'd rather come here in a t-shirt and jeans. Well, you can't wear jeans. Manager doesn't like it. It's like, nobody sees us back here.
Seriously.
Like, I get it. Like, if you're working with the public out in front, like, yeah, you want to maintain that corporate image. I get it. Like, business casual. I get it. Sure. Nobody fucking sees us unless we're leaving the building. And again, nobody cares.
No.
You know,
No.
by the time I had left, they finally changed it up. And, you know, that's one of those things, like, I made it a point when I was working at home, I was working in my fucking underwear, and I was happy about it.
Hi, ma'am. I'm answering you in my tidy whities. How you doing?
Oh, you got a flat tire. I'm sorry. Talk to my Haynes about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to admit, I'm not stoked about having to wear business casual to my guitar job because they are business casual, so I can't even wear jeans. But you know what? When I returned, I was going to have to return to the office. I think they said as of June to my current job. If that's the case, I have to be business casual anyway. Now, they let me wear jeans, but to be honest, like, I don't care. Totally worth it.
Yeah, like
Totally worth it.
Like to me, business casual is like, you know, nice pair of jeans, like not holes in it or anything, and like
Yeah.
polo shirt at the very least.
Yeah, so I won't be able to wear jeans. He defines business casual as, you know, you can't wear jeans, or sneakers, but, you know, whatever, fine. It's,
Yeah, okay,
it is what it is. But you know what? I'm going to be teaching guitar. So, like,
Yeah,
it's once again, like, in the grand scheme of things, what do I have to bitch about? Nothing.
Your hockey team didn't make the playoffs.
Exactly, yeah. My hockey team didn't make the playoffs. Oh,
Yeah,
how am I ever going to live with myself?
yeah.
So yeah, nothing to complain about. And if only more people realize like just how little they have to complain. Like you said about talking to your therapist and then, oh, I'm leaving because I have cancer. Like if more people thought like that, like, oh, think about the battles that other people are facing that you don't even know about.
Again,
Like,
it goes back to the employer saying in one breath, well, we care about our employees. We care about their health. Oh, great. So you're going to do X, Y, and Z, right? Well, no, I mean, we can't do
we don't have
that.
money for that.
We can't, well, no, we can't do that. I mean, you can wear a Hawaiian shirt on Fridays. Like, it's casual Friday. We like to have fun here. It's like, this is not fun.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, this job, this sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I would rather be a guinea pig for a proctologist in training than work this fucking job. I like this job about as much as a barbed wire catheter. And trust me, the catheter is starting to look much more appealing compared to this. Because either way I'm looking at it, I'm dealing with a pain in the dick.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not talking to you as a
No,
job.
no. Well, either way, you're right.
Well, I mean, you're a dick, but I don't know if you're a pain in the dick. I don't know.
Oh man.
Oh man, Bruce, you got anything to plug, man? Like, you know, plug where you're gonna be teaching guitar, because I mean, somebody out there could want, you know, virtual lessons.
Yeah, I mean it's not official yet, but I'm 99.9999999% sure that I'm going to be accepting the job offer on Monday, so tomorrow. Because we're recording this on Sunday. But right now I work for Traveling Music Lessons, so you could always hit them up if you're in the Boston area. Otherwise, if you're in the New Hampshire area, you can go to Let's Play Music. They've actually got 3 locations. I'm going to be teaching at the one in Hudson, although we might be working out where I work in the Derry location as well. But they've got location in Derry, Manchester, and Hudson, New Hampshire. So go to Let's Play Music, which is kind of funny because we have Let's Cast and then Let's Play. We were talking about calling the gaming thing Let's Play, so yeah, it's very strange.
Don't let us play, but
Well, let us play.
Let us play. Fucking semantics.
Yeah, semantics. Who gives a shit? So yeah, man, I'm super stoked about that, and check them out. And I would pin my website, but honestly, I don't really care about getting private lessons anymore. If I'm gonna get in with a school, cool with me.
Hey, either way, but
Yeah.
so
How about you?
yeah, the only thing I have to plug is other people's shit. I don't have my own.
Plug other people's shit then.
So, Inside of You podcast, listen to that. The new Miles Kennedy album, fucking pick it up. That's fucking kick ass. Like I bought.
Yeah,
Bruce
you got me
of
a
it.
copy. Thank you, by the way. That's awesome.
Yeah. Sunspin, Michael Rosenbaum band. Listen to that. It's a fucking great record, as I'm sure you'll come to find out soon. Mm-hmm. You've already heard like a couple tracks from it, but
Yeah, like 2 or 3, I think.
yeah, I think you heard like "Summertime Neighbor" and "Kicking Off My Shoes," which 2 of the best songs
Yeah.
on the album. But anyways, regardless, check them out. They're awesome. And for now, keep wearing a mask because the fucking honor system sucks.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. And it always will.
Yeah.
I don't have much hope for people getting much better.
Yeah.
I'd like to. I would like to think that people will stop being dicks someday, but I feel like it only gets worse as time goes on. It doesn't get better.
Again, it's like I would like to think that people are better than this. Like I want to believe in that, you know, people for the most part are generally good. For the most part. I want to believe that.
Me too.
I can't see that now.
It's hard. It's really hard. It's hard.
Yeah. I mean, it's you want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but it's just I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. People just suck.
Well, because they prove time and time again that you can't.
Yeah.
And at what point do you stop trusting it. I mean, I still have hope, but it gets tested more than I'd like.
Yeah, I mean, you have hope because I mean, if you don't have hope, it's what else is there?
Right.
It's people suck.
Yeah.
People just suck.
Yeah.
Not anybody that listens to this or
No.
watches it. we love you like Uncle Paul does.
Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, so from Let Us Cast, I'm Andrew.
And I am Bruce.
And we will catch you cats next time. And yeah, we're gonna try and get this better once a week.
Yeah.
Like maybe not in person once a week, but you know what, man, we'll
Probably not.
probably do this like once a month. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
something like that.
Depends on the
And
schedule.
we could probably go like back and forth. Like right now we're at my place. We can go to your place for a show or whatever.
The place is a mess. But anyways,
Well, mine is too. That's why we got the backdrop.
I would have laughed so hard if that just
If it fell over? Yeah, me too.
Oh man. Yeah, that would have been great. All right, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bang bang.